Is it Russian? Oh, you're Jamaican. Levi, I got no idea what you're trying to. What is that supposed to be, buddy?
KingSithis is now live streaming Grand Theft Auto 5.
Okay, now it sounds
Debate
Japanese.
Ancaps.
I think you're just talking gibberish.
I speak Japanese. Honda Civic.
Okay, mixing languages is pretty much gibberish, man. How the hell did Yiddish form? Yiddish is a combination of German and Hebrew.
No, it's probably some German people and some Hebrew people that, like, you know, started hanging out, and then they became they combined the language into one.
Well, kinda. So what happened is Jews went to Germany. Jews who spoke
I don't actually
Hebrew.
know. I just said that.
Over time, Jews spread throughout Europe, and some found themselves in Germanic areas like Germany and Austria. And eventually, you get to where all the Jews they speak both German, and at least the Jews in those areas speak both German and Hebrew. And I guess amongst themselves, it kind of naturally just became. But here's the thing: there's words that it's like it's not of either language.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a mixture
weird.
of both, like Gullah.
I guess it's like Spanglish.
Mm-hmm.
But usually, but Spanglish, we don't have Spanglish words. What's a Spanglish word? It doesn't work that way.
And what they
when
do is
people
they
are
just
speaking
speak
Spanglish,
English
that means
and,
that
yeah, English and Spanish. Basically, they mix the words together.
Right. Like in one sentence, primero es en español, and the second half is in English. It's
Fucking
not
government.
like you don't get a word. Who's that?
Adit.
Adil. What's up? Adil. What's up, Adil?
Yo,
What's up, bro?
nothing much.
What do you think about?
All right, so
Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what
I
do you
had
think
a
about?
stupid joke.
I was just gonna ask him what he thinks about anarcho-capitalism.
Capitalism?
Yes.
And narco-capitalism.
Yeah. More specifically.
Narco-capitalism? Is that
Anarcho.
well, can you define that for me, please?
Yeah, so the anarcho plus abolition of government. There's no government, no state. And then capitalism means you have the free enterprise system, basically. You know, free market, private property rights, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And so when you combine them, you have an economy in which you have 100% private sector, where all goods and services, even things that we usually look to government to provide, things like protection from murderers and judicial adjudication and military defense and stuff, are instead being supplied competitively on the free market.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I think that there should be always some type of authority, right?
Why?
Hell no.
Which will
Wait a minute. Let's hear.
Huh?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
brother.
So I think there should be some kind of a court, like a judicial court, that keeps the peace.
We agree. We want courts. We just don't want. We think judicial adjudication, like courts, that's way too important to let it be handled by a forcibly funded monopoly that's not accountable to market forces. We want courts. We just want them to come the right way. We want them to come through the free market where they have to compete with each other. Where if if a court is giving bad rulings, they go out of business.
Yeah, yeah. But how would you like? How would you apply certain crimes and what is like a moral compass? Do
Each each
you gonna
arbitrator,
yeah.
each each court has their own policies that they resolve disputes based on. And historically, private legal systems like this, it usually looks a lot like the non-aggression principle. The courts, they each have their own their own laws, and then it's up to the rights enforcement companies that have disputes with each other and need to bring their disputes before a court to choose which court they both agree to. And then it's up to each customer, each person in society, to decide what rights enforcement companies they want to subscribe themselves to. And so their choice of rights enforcement company ultimately decides what courts and therefore what laws they will be under. So in a sense, to a limited extent, everybody gets to choose for themselves what laws they'll be under. However, that only applies insofar as they can get the potential disputant
Or the business
to
could
agree to the
refuse.
same ones.
Oh, or the business could refuse service to you if you violate other people's rights. Or they'll charge you
Yes.
more.
Well, yeah, if you go, inferring. Oh, go ahead.
And how would you like apply like the idea that like the strongest have like a certain amount of power? How would you fight that
Well,
corruption? You can say.
I think that the free market has a naturally built-in mechanism that's much better at corruption than government. So government, it's very easy, and that even if a court is not for sale, the laws are being written by the highest bidder. And when a legislature is corrupt, as they generally are, then that corruption-based law gets imposed onto everybody in the whole country. But in the case of a free market system, there is no legislature, the laws are decided by each court for their own court. And if a court is being corrupt, that is, if they are accepting bribes or like that, then they're not going to get mutual deference from pairs of disputants anymore. Even the richer party to a dispute does not want a bidding war for every dispute. That's much more expensive. They want fair adjudication. Both sides do. Even if, for example, if you're the court and I'm a rights enforcement company and I bribe you to, give the wrong ruling, that even tells me that I don't want to use you in the future because it would be much more expensive to have to do things that way. And the other party to the dispute certainly won't want to use you again. And other players in the market, the other, customers of judicial adjudication, they're not going to want to use you because the ruling didn't look right. And it suggests that they might have to enter a bidding war to win their dispute, and that's very expensive. That's one of the most expensive ways they can deal with it. And these are profit-seeking firms. They want to save money. So, in other words, a corrupt court, it's not impossible that a court can be corrupt, of course, on a free market. But I think it's less likely because if they look corrupt, then they're likely to go out of business. They're competing with each other for a reputation for fairness. Whereas government courts and government legislatures, they have no such pressure.
I mean, it does sound reasonable as what you have now, but how would you come to that kind of?
My favorite, getting there. That's a good question. My favorite route is Monero. You okay, buddy?
Agorism.
Yeah. Hit it, so it went like.
Oh, okay. Well, just be careful, Buggy. All right. My son hurt himself a little bit hitting the tree with an axe for no reason. Oh, you did it at Boom Park. Oh, and now you feel it because you're hitting the tree with it.
What's up?
my hand.
Okay, buddy. Anyway, my favorite route to arrive at anarcho-capitalism is mass tax avoidance. Basically, you get a Monero economy one way or another. Businesses and individuals start using Monero instead of dollars or euro or yen. They're using things like Monero and Pirate Chain. This would require some technological innovation to make it practical for, regular businesses, liquor stores and gas stations and so on to be using Monero. But if you do get to the point that everyone's ready to use Monero, then suddenly taxes become not possible to enforce, no matter what laws they pass. Because if I can't see your transactions, then I can't tax your transactions.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Well, sorry,
I
but
imagine.
sure, I get that aspect, but how would you like? I mean, there are people that have now the power. How would you remove that power? Because uh,
You take away their credit card, basically. You just stop funding them. Their power comes from taxes, and if they can't enforce taxes very effectively, then they don't have any more power.
Yeah, another thing on top of that is that if they can't see what you're buying or even that it's yours, they can't account for it under taxation. So like if you earn money through Monero, there's no way for them to be like, oh, you earned this amount of money this year, so therefore you owe us this percentage of that money, because they can't even see that you earned it. Right?
well, then wouldn't it like be how do you say it? They would have like the majority has to like go with this.
Well, that's why we're trying to
idea,
convince
right?
people, man.
I don't actually think it has to be a majority. Imagine if even just 10% of people and businesses started doing this, right? Like you get a point of sale system where the customer pays at the store, they're paying in dollars and the business receives it in Monero going through a third-party financier, or the customer pays in Monero. If even 10% of people were doing this, the IRS, the tax collection agencies, they would become so backlogged with work that the idea of getting prosecuted for tax avoidance or tax evasion would be pushed completely into the abstract, into the remote realm of not likely. And then more and more people stop paying because it's easier and easier to get away with the more people don't pay. Plus, I think they would increase the tax burden on the remaining payers. In other words, let's say 10% of businesses stop paying taxes, right? Okay, so they increase to make up for that. They increase the taxes on the other 90%, but increasing it means more of those. Say another 10% stop paying. They move to Monero or something, and they invest in setting up that infrastructure to not pay taxes because it now makes more financial sense for them to. Okay, so now the government to compensate for that deficit, they start taxing the other 80% even higher, and that pushes more of them into the non-payer camp. So they tax the remaining payers even higher. Eventually, they're out of taxpayers.
I mean, we have to be fair, right? If the establishment see something that might threaten them, right? They would like enforce some kind of. They will make something up to destroy or stop that rhetoric, right? The idea that that other people would follow. I mean, they will even destroy it. They will make something up and stop the bleeding, if you in that sense.
Stop the bleeding.
They will try. I know they will try. I'm not convinced they will succeed. I think they will do an even worse job at getting rid of like Monero and stuff than they did at getting rid of marijuana. In fact, it's even easier to use to break laws digitally than it is, tangibly.
I mean,
Plus, one reason I think they haven't just straight up banned stuff like Monero, I think they're using it. I think politicians are getting paid Monero and stuff by giant, mega corporation and stuff. A big business pays a politician to pass a law. Well, back in the day, they had to give them a briefcase full of cash or a campaign contribution. Now they can just use Monero. That's way simpler and easier to not get caught. So they'd kind of be shooting themselves in the foot, I think. But even if they do ban it, I don't think it'll work. I think it would work about as well as it worked to stop people from pirating music.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think what you have now is not working, but yeah.
Yeah, it was like when they tried to ban stopping people from using MP3s. The only way they could stop people from downloading MP3s was providing a better service than the MP3. And it wasn't even the state that did that. It was a private company that Spotify's that sort of came in and was like, hey, you could pay a certain amount of money and you can have unlimited music,
Yeah. But, the thing is, for example, I think Trump is a good example. There's, he made or they made the idea that Trump was something else, right? It was a response or a solution to the problems you had before, and people did fall for it. So I don't know. I think they will just pivot, using others to make the idea that there's a change is coming, and which actually isn't. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not as bad as what we have now. So yeah.
Oh, I am out of shape.
I am trying to get in shape.
I gotta do one more trip, buddy. You want to start putting this stuff away?
I'll do that one.
This morning, I shot 2 spiders. There were spiders on the ceiling. On my porch, there were spiders on the ceiling.
Sorry,
so I shot them with a BB gun.
I'm doing a heist right now.
You're doing a heist? What, in GTA?
Yeah, I'm robbing a casino vault, and it has gold everywhere, so I'm stealing the gold right now.
Leave it. Here you go.
Oh.
I am looking forward to GTA 6. That's probably going to be epic.
Yeah, man, I'm just playing GTA 5 until GTA 6 comes out because I love GTA in general, and you know what? I do really like GTA Online. I think it's actually pretty fun.
You know how I know GTA 6 is going to be fucking legendary?
What makes you think so?
Because of how fucking legendary Red Dead 2 was.
Yeah, and GTA Online recently has been adding a lot of good content to the game, and it's made by the same people who make GTA 6, so it makes me lead me to believe that they're going to be cooking up some good shit. They haven't they really, yeah.
My son is putting away groceries. That's the division of labor. I bring them in from the truck, and he puts them away. And I'm always amused to see where he thinks things go.
I'm clicking really fast in order to grab the money.
He'll put a box of cereal in the refrigerator or something.
Okay, you would not be able to carry all of this gold. Dude, that would be These gold bars. Dude, we almost have $6 million, bro.
6 million.
We have
That is
507
certainly a number.
$5,700,000.
How do you feel about the number 6 million?
Feels pretty good.
So my guy, Adil, where are you from?
Netherlands.
Oh, right on. Oh, do you like to do ketamine?
Do I what?
He's,
Do you like to do ketamine?
No, I don't do drugs.
Not even ketamine?
hey, to run fast,
Nope.
to run,
In
hey,
the
to run
Netherlands?
faster in the vault, just hold A.
What kind of
Yep.
Dutchman
And-
doesn't do ketamine?
No, A and W at the same time
Maybe
while
because I'm
sprinting,
Muslim. Maybe
and you will
that's
run
why.
faster like me. Okay, so
They have
just do
Muslims
that.
in the Netherlands?
Just hold A and W
Yeah,
while you're
my
sprinting.
parents are from Morocco.
Oh, interesting. Well, now, wait a minute. It doesn't say in Islam you can't do ketamine.
I'm pretty sure drugs. You're not allowed to do drugs like at all.
Well, you're allowed to take medicine. And a lot of
I don't know. I don't
a lot
think
of
that
religious
counts.
people will use, psychedelics and stuff to get closer to God.
Yeah, I mean, sure, the medicine thing is allowed, but not like recreational purposes, you know?
Well,
He quit.
ketamine is an antidepressant, and it helps you, get a better mindset. Even when you're not on it, it helps combat depression and such. So that's like a medicinal loophole.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if like a doctor is prescribing you medicine
Wow.
because
that the
of an
rule?
issue, yeah.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Okay, so if you have indigestion, you can't just go to the store and get yourself some Tums or, antacids to stop the indigestion. You have to get a doctor to say you need it.
Not necessarily. If there's like a cure for something you have, then and you can just buy it, then it is allowed. But if it's like because you want to like get high or don't know, then no, it's not really.
What do you think about legalizing all drugs?
Mm, I mean, here in the Netherlands, it is illegal to buy drugs, right? I mean, like soft drugs, like weed and I don't know. I'm a bit. The problem is, or the benefit is that you can have like a certain amount of control, right? On
I mean, you have. Is the industry? I understand there are I know at least with marijuana and maybe mushrooms, there are like cafes and shops and stuff where they're allowed to sell that.
yeah. You
Most,
can.
and that means at that cafe or shop, if you go to a cafe and get some weed, they're not going to shoot you. You take a lot of the violence away where the industry is legal.
Yeah, that's why I said, right? They have if you legalize it, you have some control on it, right? So
See,
I
I'm
mean,
from Baltimore. I was a drug dealer for 9 years in Baltimore, where it's completely illegal. Or at
yeah,
least certainly they've relaxed on marijuana since I was a kid. But when I was growing up, that and all the other street drugs were totally illegal.
yeah.
And I had the thought so many times when people I knew in the industry would get killed. That happened many times. Or when I would have a gun stuck in my face, or when people would try to kill me, or people would try to rob me, and shit like that. That this shit just wouldn't be happening if this were just like a regular fucking industry.
Yeah. The one of the reasons why I don't think like it's a good thing is because you legalize it, you make it normal, right? And I think drugs have a bad effect to certain type of people, you know. And I think that's like yeah, I mean that's where the bad outweighs the good, right?
I have two empirical refutations to the premise of normalizing it through legalization. One of them is pre-prohibition America. When I say prohibition, I mean drug prohibition in this context. Um, in the 1800s and the early 1900s in America and most of the world, actually, there were no drug laws. It was completely legal after the discovery of cocaine and eventually heroin and methamphetamine. You could just buy those things at a general store. Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in. And not a little bit, by the way. It wasn't a little bit of, it was a lot of cocaine. Like drinking a Coca-Cola used to give you more cocaine than like doing an average line of cocaine. Now,
I wonder what it tastes
other
like.
than the Coca-Cola, it was like brilliantly marketed and they mixed it with a delicious drink and so on, and there was a lot to it. But as far as just people going to stores and just getting some cocaine, some heroin, some meth, it was allowed and they did sell it at general stores and so on. However, it was exceedingly rare. Most people did not buy that stuff. Most people weren't using it. We have much higher rates of hard drug use since they have been criminalized than we did before they were banned. And I'm not saying that there's a causal relationship. I'm not saying that they're used more because they're illegal. That would be a more difficult case to make. But the fact that they are much more common after they've been outlawed than they were when they were legal does seem to contradict the premise that legal means normal. Legal means everyone's doing it. Likewise, rates of alcohol consumption in the era of alcohol prohibition, they were very slightly lower than before prohibition and directly after. Meaning, and that's as far as we know. It's kind of hard to capture rates of people doing something illegal. But as much alcohol consumption as we know was happening, it was only slightly less. A relatively statistically insignificant percent, and I don't remember what the percentage was, but it was exceedingly small. It's not like, you know, they cut it down to 1/10 of what it was when legal or something. It's more along the lines of something like they cut 1/10 off or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Here, let me see the shoe. My son's asking for help with taking the wheels off of his shoes. So, look, we can all get drugs if we want drugs. You know, I could drive a little ways into the city and get heroin, get crack, get meth. I don't want them. I don't want to do those things. So, I used to do those things. Well, not really meth. I've tried meth and did not like it. But heroin and crack I used to be addicted to. But I've quit. Now, most people know where they can go get drugs. You know, if you live anywhere near a major city or something, you know what kind of neighborhoods they have them in. You just drive there and ask, you know, some black people you see, and they can point you in the right direction if they don't have it themselves.
Whoa, bro.
Okay,
Whoa, bro.
What am I wrong?
Whoa, bro.
Look, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. They're being entrepreneurial. Like they're working with what they got.
That is an unfounded, unsubstantiated stereotype.
Oh no! Wait, yeah, no, you're right. I just realized all the crack dealers are white. Yeah,
Whoa! No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You got it, buddy. Now you know how. Hey, don't
Look,
fix those wheels, though.
if you're like comparing, right? If you had the choice to protect like because making it illegal, it will protect to a certain amount of or to some extent, like the weaker, like for example, like children or kids or teenagers, right?
I can't tell you how many teenagers I've known that have died as a result of prohibition, both in the form of getting murdered, such as my friend Najee Thomas, who got shot in the head, or my friend Eric Reynaga, who got shot in the head, various others, or young people that I've known that have died as a consequence of overdosing. And the reason they were overdosing is because the drugs are laced, because you don't know what you're getting with street drugs. If it were coming from a store, you know what you're getting. But if you're getting it on the streets and all in it.
Yeah, well, we have here like you know when you have this when there's like a festival or something, you have like some kind of ways. If you have like illegal drugs like coke or something, you can go there and test it, and then if it's good, they will give you like they will say to you if it's if the drugs is like and it's not like poison, you know.
Yeah, and if drugs were just legal, if you could just go to Walgreens, or I don't know what the equivalent is in the Netherlands, but if you could just go to a normal store and just buy it from a trusted brand like Bayer or whatever your drug brands are there, it would always be safe. You would always know what's in it. And a company that is putting out a product that is adulterated with fentanyl or something like that, not only would they repel customers and develop a terrible reputation, they could also get sued into oblivion. Whereas, if you're lucky, there's somebody has a test, like at a festival or something with street drugs. Maybe somebody has a test at a festival, or maybe you are proactive and buy tests. I've only come across one system that's kind of reliable-ish for reputational enforcement of street drug quality or street drug purity, and that is the darknet, which a lot of people in the Netherlands use. I know that because I've done a lot of transactions with Dutch people on the darknet. So on the darknet, these are websites. Like the original one was the Silk Road, and then after that there was Alpha Bay and Abraxas, Black Market Reloaded, Empire Market, Versus Market, Archetype, and so on. So these are drug markets where they're on a different internet. They're on the Tor network, not on the regular internet you'd get on from like Internet Explorer or Chrome or Safari or something. You have to have a different browser to get on that internet. But basically, they're websites that are where everyone using them is anonymous. You can't have your IP traced. So people buy and sell drugs on there. And there's review systems. You can leave a review if you buy drugs from a drug dealer, and he sends you the drugs, or maybe he doesn't send them to you. Well, if he doesn't send them, there's an escrow service. You can raise a dispute and either potentially get your money back or get half the money back or something, and he can lose his business on that market. He can be kicked off. But say you get your drugs, you can leave a review. And so what people will do is they'll test the drugs and then upload the results in their review and say, this is 5% fentanyl or something. Actually, 5% is ridiculously high. But, this is 0.05% fentanyl or something. And so you have kind of a reputational enforcement in that mechanism. But with most of the drug trade, it doesn't work that way. Most of it, you got, where I'm from, the way it looks is like you got 5 to 10 members of the Black Gorilla family posted outside of the liquor store, and that's where you get your crack and heroin, and you hope that the stuff that they give you is what you're hoping is what you're wanting, is decent quality and not not laced with something that's going to kill you.
Is that the darknet still a thing in the US?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They took. Oh, absolutely. The big market now is Drug Hub. That's one of the bigger ones, anyway.
Yeah, I
Drug
saw
Hub
a
is
while
good.
back. When they catch the Silk Road guy.
Yeah, he's free now.
Well, that was forever ago. He just got a presidential pardon. This was cool. So,
he did nothing wrong.
Donald Trump, who's not a libertarian.
Nope.
Me and Sithis are libertarians. Donald Trump is not a libertarian.
Nope.
But Donald Trump wanted to get elected, so he visited the Libertarian National Convention, and he promised that if he gets elected, he's going to free our friend Ross Ulbricht.
Yep.
I don't know Ross, but he's a friend to every libertarian, you could say.
Yep.
And there was all these signs at the convention saying, free Ross, because he was sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 40 years for
Sheesh.
making a website that saved countless lives. The Democrats in Washington, D.C. made a huge example out of him, essentially. And so 2 life sentences. But Donald Trump actually kept his promise. I was very surprised he did. I didn't expect him to. But day 2 in office, he pardoned Ross Ulbricht, so now he's free. But anyway, after Ross got busted and the Silk Road got busted, a great many copycat darknet markets were created because Ross made like $1 billion or something doing that. It's very profitable, or at least many, many millions of dollars.
Yeah.
The way it works is you start this website, and then drug dealers, they go set up accounts on the site to sell drugs, and then the website collects a slice of every transaction. And so if you have a big website with, a lot of these sites, like Drug Hub or Versus Market or something, they'll have hundreds of thousands of users on. So that's pretty substantial. And if you're collecting a portion, 5%, 10% off of every fucking transaction, and these are like expensive drug transactions, yeah, you can make a pretty penny. So you best believe there will always be these sites.
Hell yeah.
I mean, Trump did, I assume he did benefit from releasing him.
Well, he got a lot of good words from people who are libertarian like us, who are basically like, yeah, we're very happy that he did that.
All right, buddy, I'll turn on the hotspot. I just turned it on, man. Sure, Buggy. Yeah, that's why I didn't expect Trump to keep his promise, because he'd already won the election. I didn't see what was in it for him. And to me, he seems very much like a narcissist, Machiavellian, kind of just does what's in it for him kind of guy. But maybe he just wanted to piss off the Democrats, because it was the Democrats that waged the campaign against Ross Ulbricht. Or maybe he just wanted to, have an easy grab at looking like a promise keeper, something that costs him nothing politically, other than pissing off people he already loves pissing off, like Chuck Schumer. I don't expect you to know who American politicians are, but Chuck Schumer is a senator that's, in my view, particularly egregious.
Yeah, I know.
And he's
I know him. I know.
He was the guy essentially that spearheaded the campaign against Ross Ulbricht.
You're lagging.
Sicked his lapdog. He sicked his lapdog, Judge Catherine Forrest, on Ross. And she said that she's giving him the maximum possible sentence because she believes Ross did what he did for ideological reasons, and that it's a dangerous ideology because there's no democracy in it. She's referring to the ideology of freedom, the idea that, free adults can engage in consensual transactions with each other, and the political system and the voters and so on don't get any say in the matter. That's like heresy to, authoritarian especially authoritarian leftists.
Yeah, they are the only one that can
At least the Americans.
sell drugs.
You said they're the only ones that can sell drugs? Oh, you mean because what?
They're the only one allowed to.
Big pharma in bed with government.
Yeah, and also like in the past, like they, like they dealt with like
The CIA.
cartels. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's true. I mean, it's probably true. Sounds true. Sounds like the CIA's MO.
Yeah. I mean, what's the oxy problem you guys have is also like they are the cause of it. It's just crazy.
To my understanding, OxyContin came from a company called Purdue Pharma. That's granted, I don't know the full history, but I did see kind of a mini series about this called Painkiller, which was interesting. There's a company called Purdue Pharma.
Yeah, I've seen that also. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, the thing was astonishing about it is, it has to be approved, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the problem. I think one of the issues, which they later like confessed that it shouldn't be like allowed. It's like the trials they put in the application for the drug, right? I think
the impression they give on the show is that the guy who whose desk it falls on to approve it was invited to a hotel room, and then we don't know what happened in that hotel room, but afterward he approved it.
Yeah, sure. But even though that guy was also like the problem, the justification or the proof that the drug is like.
Gotta say, you guys have some crazy
it
ass
has no
debates. XD.
complication to the users was false.
Yeah, they lied their asses off about risk of addiction. That was the main thing is they were saying it's not addictive, but no, it's very addictive. It's pill heroin. Like
I think I think they said that they like did some trials like in Mexico or South America. I don't know where, but which was even crazy.
Doing a high dose. Speaking from experience, doing a high dosage of OxyContin is a lot like doing a low dose of heroin.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think that story was in that series. I think there was like a girl of 15 or 16 or something who got like who fell from in like a school gym or something.
Why is this taking so long?
And she eventually got addicted because she was subscribed that drug, and she eventually died. It's just crazy.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And I think Purdue Pharma, it was right for them to be held liable for lying about their products because that's misrepresentation. The way I see it, I think you have the moral right to sell absolutely anything you want. However, you can't lie about it. You have to be open and honest about the risks.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the customers to decide for themselves, am I okay with that risk? But if you lie about the risk, then you take that away from them and you make it not consensual.
Yeah, that's great.
Number 1 Bella Delphine defender.
I'm back.
Yo,
God.
bro. What's going on?
Dude, you're a guy, but every time you enter somewhere I am, it turns me on because I'm thinking of Belle Delphine now.
Oh, really?
No, you don't turn me on. Belle Delphine turns me on, and so by association, like...
Yeah. I get it.
She's just... Oh, my God. A crush on Belle Delphine. I always have, ever since I learned of Belle Delphine. Ever since I first saw her taking a raw, like a full egg and just putting the egg in her mouth and just breaking the shell with her teeth or something and just eating the egg without cooking it.
She was my first.
That was That was my first exposure to Belle Delphine. She just takes an egg like
Yeah.
out of the refrigerator or something, and
I
it just
know.
eats the egg.
I know what video you're
And
talking about.
Disgusting.
and I saw that, I was like, oh my god, who is she? Not because of the egg, but just look at her. Oh my god. The egg is interesting, but I want to see more of her. And now you can.
Yeah, you
Now you
certainly
can
can.
You
see
can
it
see
all.
you can see every inch of her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing it up close. Give her every inch myself.
Well, it was nice talking to you guys. Cheers.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well,
Why
likewise.
would you scare our friend away like this, man?
Did I scare you? Admiral, did I scare you away?
No. That's. I have to go. I have to do something.
I think he's just saying
He's got to
that.
go masturbate. All right. It was
Bye.
nice talking to you.
Bye.
Have a good one. This is
He's
what you
about to go
did.
jack off to Belle Delphine.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
He's like, wait, I could see every inch of her. I'll be right back, guys.
Ooh. I want to direct porno that she stars in, and I want to co-star in it.
Yeah,
I
he
wanna-
gonna nut.
I just want to smash.
Yeah, I want to smash, but then I want videos of it for later, so that I can, return to the scene whenever I want. If you have never done that, do yourself a favor and do that.
Yeah, I can't, bro. If only I can get women.
Wait, didn't you just share? Oh wait, we're on the live, so never mind. I'll leave it alone.
I get no women. I don't know what you're talking about.
Actually, they're
I'll leave
pretty
it.
easy to find, like, at least over the internet.
Nah, like all
Any
these
real
women,
women
all
that
the women that
like-
like me are overweight, and then I'd be like, I don't want them.
Yeah,
Dude, women
only-
nowadays just are overweight. That's just how women are today.
Yeah, it's tragic.
But
Buy a
why?
big pussy.
Why can't
Okay,
they all, like-
honestly, I swear to God, this seems totally counterintuitive, but if you know what you're doing, hotter women, like fucking 10s, are easier to fuck than 7, like overweight 7s and shit.
There are no overweight 7s. What are you talking about?
Yeah, women that are overweight
What?
to me are just not
Overweight, you
attractive.
can't go above a 4 if you are an
It depends how overweight we're talking. At least, look, this is subjective, but
it's
to me,
pretty
if
overweight.
if a chick is like chubby, she's not relegated to 4. If she's morbidly obese, that's one thing. If she's got a few extra, she can still be hot as fuck.
Yeah, but maybe my standard is just based off Belle Delphine, so maybe they're just too high. But
You know what? I used to kind of be like that. I was in a long-term relationship with a woman who kind of went up and down with her weight. I felt very in love with her, and so that kind of modified my tastes to where I'm good with chubby now in a way I didn't really used to be
I'll
so
fuck
much.
with a girl that's kind of thick, but I won't fuck with a girl that's fat.
See, fat, that can be, by fat, do you mean like she's 160 or do you mean like she's 280?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I can't tell you.
like,
It's more like a
160
visual
is height
thing.
dependent.
Like,
Like,
I couldn't tell you
165
precisely. It's like a visual thing for me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, because like, what do you mean by like 160? Like 5'2", or like is she like 5'11"? Like, what are we talking about here?
She can't be
normal
she
chick
can't be
height.
obese.
like 5'3", 5'4", I don't know.
Yeah, okay, 160 is just crazy then.
It's not that crazy. Dude, I'm
Yeah.
I'm 5'5", and as of today, apparently I'm 316 pounds.
Yeah, like you're a guy.
Granted, about it's mostly penis.
Yeah, you gotta account for that as well.
One time, I lost 20 pounds in one day, It was the day I got circumcised.
Jeez. All right. Next, can we not talk about that stuff? Weird. All right, let's move on to why taxation. I don't think people are really going to join us, and and I think the reason why is because you're not able to change the room name.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, I'm now laying in bed, not driving my truck on the highway. So let me see. Okay, what I tried before, and I guess I'll try again, is the update status command. Update status. This command is for tiered rooms only. I don't know what the fuck that
As
means.
I said, crazy ass and weird debates XD.
Yeah, that's what we do around here.
What? Not know what shit means?
No, my chat was like, as I said, crazy and weird ass debates. Because they said we have some weird debates. We do. We do. And I had to restart my Grand Theft Auto because the game was taking fucking forever to load.
Okay, what is Beldo? You can't say her face.
Bella Delphine?
Other than her face, what part of Belle Delphine stands out as being exceptionally perfect?
Hey, correct Christian.
Hello.
Are you? What do you think about anarcho-capitalism?
Depends on what form.
The best, the one
What
where.
What are the options?
Yeah, what are the options?
I mean,
Well,
what do you mean by
that's a valid
capitalism?
point.
Yeah, when you talk about
We
anarcho-capitalism,
said-
do you simply mean a free market, or do you simply mean a stock market-controlled anarchist state? I don't know what you mean by that.
We mean a free market.
Just a free market
I mean,
with private property, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Free market, private property, all that stuff. No state.
Who abolishes the state though?
Us.
Okay, we do.
There's
okay.
a lot of
Okay.
there's a lot of potential ways that can happen.
Okay. What is the state defined as?
Territorial monopolist on force, an organization with greater firepower than everybody else, and can therefore do things that would be illegal for anyone else to do.
Right.
They have a monopoly on law. They're powered by force, such as taxation.
Okay, if not by
A ruling regime.
if not by a clash of firepower, how do we then dismantle the state though?
Monero.
My favorite. Well, I don't preclude
if the means
firepower.
contradict the
That's
end,
one
I
option.
mean, if the means contradict the end,
Firepower is one option. Except resisting the state, even by force, which isn't the only way to do it, but even resisting it with a violent revolution, that doesn't require establishing a bigger monopoly on force. You can do it through decentralized forces.
You don't need violence.
Yeah, that's
Necessarily.
also true. You don't need violence. So, for example, if everyone started using Monero, government would quickly die. Not of violence, but of lack of funding.
Does the what would be like the standard of the currency? What would be the reference point of all of the currency? Like, would it go back to like de fide, or would it more be like bartering?
Free banking.
Definitely not bartering. Currencies, even in more primitive.
Currency is a representation of like bartered services / things. It just has as something that represents this said thing that another person owns. It's almost
It's a
as if you
medium
have
of
to put your trust into
exchange.
the system. Yeah.
Usually, when we say barter, we're talking about the absence of a currency. Where how many chickens for an airline
Like one
ticket?
physical
Yeah,
item
there
for
isn't
another
a medium
physical
of
item.
exchange.
Like there's no
That becomes
dollar.
the currency though. Yeah, but the bartering then becomes a currency, but decentralized to the value of the product in the said area, rather than a universal value set by corporation. So the word barter just means trading goods.
Historical stateless societies have generally used finite commodities, things like gold, as currency. I expect nowadays nowadays it would be a lot more robust. I think for everyday medium of exchange purposes, we're likely to see the emergence of warehouse receipt money. This is like a token, perhaps a digital token, perhaps a tangible note, whatever. A token that is redeemable for a bundle of different goods.
Okay.
And it's not just one currency. There's many competing currencies, a free market of currency.
Oh yeah, well, we're just renaming what would be called like the international market of different currencies. We're just renaming them to like de fide, or like a credit system.
It would be, but it would be private companies that own the currencies.
Well, I mean, but like most of the world already is corporatist owned, right?
It's state. Most banks are federally owned, whether it's by.
Well, the corporation. Well, first
yeah.
of all, the corporation has the power over the said state because you appoint the people to the state that controls the corporation.
Yeah, but the state is the one with the enforcement, is the enforcement arm. They're the one that controls what laws are put in place and how it's enforced.
Well, yeah, but if
the corporations, the corporations do influence people, but it's the state that's the issue fundamentally. Sorry, I can't really hear what you're saying, Tax. You mind
Sorry, here.
Bottoms out a little bit. It like bottoms out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're just as much as against corporate or crony capitalism as any other group.
Are you a Carl Hess kind of guy, or Rothbard?
A Rothbard. I like Rothbard better.
Oh, you're a Rothbard. Okay, so you Austrian schooler, right?
Hell yeah.
I have a lot of problems with Austrian schooling.
You idiot! Since you turned up here,
you have a problem?
providing massages and smelly
Because-
candles.
What's wrong with it?
Steroids and carnage.
The referent to the currency. I keep asking, what is it, right? And then every time you tell me, it's more like a private conglomerate institutionalizes. Sure, the government isn't as big, but it's still an institutionalization of a merited currency that is selected by a board of members in the said constituent factory to then give unto the people. It's almost like a decentralized proletariat. It seems to be a contradiction to me.
Decentralized proletariat? I would more call it
they seem like decentralized proletariats. I mean, they work in the same means. You know, like minarchism, right? It's not minarchism per se, but it seems that the anarcho-capitalism after the onset will then develop into minarchism. If you know what minarchism is.
Yeah, it's like the minimal state.
Yeah, it's like a night watchman state. It's like they just protect the individuals. It's like think of like a MIO or like a defense contracting company, and they're all competing. It seems that will always become a thing because every time you decentralize something, all it allows for people to do is reform alliances.
Well, I mean, we're not against private enforcement of law. You know, us Ancaps. And I would say a minarchist state would be better than what we have now, by far.
Under the said anarcho-capitalist state, what is the set of morals that is enforced, if not by the state?
We believe in the non-aggression principle. That's
the non-aggression principle.
Do you know what that is, or no?
No, what I mean is, how do you enforce something like that?
Oh, the same way states do, just it would be done through private means. And there would be competing firms that, or insurance firms that you would subscribe to, and they would insure your property against violence or criminals and stuff like that, and they protect you.
To preemptively, like for example, there's a suspicion that someone is coming to raid your house. Are you able to preemptively neutralize them, or is this violating the NAP?
It depends if they're going to do it. I mean, there's going to be, I'm sure, there's different situations, right? But whenever hazy situations where you don't really know what the best outcome or case should be, then you have sort of third-party arbitration agencies that can sort of look at the case. If people feel like the outcome was unfair and...
Okay. Here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that the so-called anarchist state is employing.
Well, it's not a state.
In the means of a state. Well, you're acting in the means of a state. Every single time you institutionalize anything, a regulation, or come up with a solution that requires a body to enforce something upon another body, that is a state action, right?
Wait a minute.
So when you just say it's a private agency, in what way
That doesn't
is it
make
private
sense.
if it is the rule of law?
Because if I'm on my own property and I have a gun and a guy is going to rob it and then I say, get off my property, and then with the gun and he runs off, I'm enforcing my property rights, and there's no state involved in
What do you mean
that.
by property rights?
Well, property rights would be the right to, well, your property, the scarce good in which you are the rightful owner of.
You're not understanding. Okay, so anarcho-capitalism is bringing up these propositions that are innate, inalienable, or at least protectable rights, right? But then you have to employ, to make sure that you're protecting it in the right way, a third-party corporation, not really corporation, private company, you say. It's acting in the same way. A private company to enforce the said thing or to determine whether or not you did it correctly. That seems to be an enforcement or an intervening, mediating principle. That's called a government.
Well, we differentiate from governments and states. So you can be a privatized government or a voluntary government, but you wouldn't be a state, because we would consider a state to be a legitimized criminal organization who's took it upon itself to be the monopoly on force and law within a certain jurisdiction. Whereas private companies don't do that. They are providing a service in exchange for some sort of good or service that you have. You know, it's voluntary, ideally.
But I just don't think Ancaps are really anarchists. I think they're just capitalists. They just
Well, we
using a weird name.
we are capitalists. I mean, that's certainly true.
I don't think the anarcho is fine though, because so you know what anarchy stands for, right?
Well, no unjust hierarchies.
No, it's the absence or non-recognition of authority, right?
No, not necessarily. We believe in no unjust.
Etymologically, that is what it has always meant.
No, I would have to disagree with you on that.
It comes from the Greek word
from
anarchia,
Perdone,
which means without a ruler, without a chief, archos.
Okay. Well, Perdone, he was the one that popularized the term anarcho-capitalism. Well, not anarcho-capitalism, but anarchy. And he meant it as no unjust hierarchies. Or no rulers, or without rulers. That's another way of saying it. And what you consider to be an unjust ruler is what differentiates you from one anarchist to the next. You know, so for instance, Ancaps, they consider capitalism to be an unjust hierarchy, whereas we do not. And that's why we have a different view on what anarchy or how it would play out, or our version of anarchy would play out than say an Ancap. Because we don't
talk about a system being just, you're introducing a third category, right?
Of ethics?
You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're introducing a third category, ethics. What do the ethics stem from?
Oh, the non-aggression principle. We believe in.
Yeah, but the non-aggression principle is the non-aggression principle is identical to the ethics, but where do the ethics stem from? As in, what is the binding authority?
Well, there is. What do you mean binding? I don't know what you mean by that. Binding authority.
If not by agreement, right, between all parties, what makes this thing innate?
I mean, ideally, we would have some sort of private insurance agencies that would insure
Enforce
people's.
It, right?
Yeah, that would be competing with each other.
That's called a state, man. Come on.
Well, a state. Wait, if I go to Walmart, respectfully, if I go to Walmart
yes,
and
it's
I buy,
instated. Yes, it is. It is instated. In fact, it's a state inside of a state. States can collapse.
Walmart's a state.
Yeah. It's okay. Listen.
What will make you
Walmart
think
has
that?
Its own sovereign. Yeah, because it has its own sovereign political entity within. It's called the HR organization. It literally manages the people.
Yeah, but that's voluntary.
Listen,
it's not involuntary.
The state is also voluntary.
Well, that's the respectful disagreement that I have with you on that one.
Being hired to the state is voluntary.
Well, being hired, but I don't be. It's not voluntary to pay taxes.
Yeah, it's also not voluntary to have laws enforced upon you by a private company. Which
The
you just admitted
the
to.
only time a private company in Ancapistan would stop you from doing something is if you violate another person's rights by stealing from them.
Yeah, another
or
person's rights that are
initiating
only enforced
force.
by the private corporation, not of their own accord. It's literally okay.
So
Listen,
you don't
dude, it's a
believe in.
contradiction.
So
It's
you
a
don't
P and
believe
not
in.
P.
You don't believe in self-defense.
Oh, I do believe in self-defense. I just believe that you're not admitting to knowing that it is in
So
fact a
if
state. It's simply
if
a centralized
somebody
state.
respectfully, if somebody comes up to you and attacks you, and you hire your friend to retaliate against that person on your behalf,
I think
are
it's
you
just a
now
decentralized state.
a state now?
Yeah, you're doing a stately action. It's all
A
state is
stately
a transfer
action?
of authority. Hold on. A state is simply, especially a decentralized one, is when authority is transferred and a responsibility over the public function go from the central government to a entity that acts as if it was a local government. For example, one that enforces rules and laws, right?
But
And
wait,
if you're
that would
relying
make
on private corporation-
every private company a state.
Yes, because they are, dummy. When the actual state ceases to exist, and
Then
the private
the
company
word
becomes the mode of
state means
enforcement-
has no meaning now.
Okay, no, it does have meaning. It literally has meaning. I just defined it as to
Because,
you. The
well, then
enforcement
how
of
do
a
you-
law, of a law, of a law
How do you
principle.
differentiate from a state and a private company then?
How do you differentiate? Because the state is simply an adjective to the said thing that it's describing, right? So, for example, there's always going to be a modifier to the said thing that's called a state. A private company would be a decentralized state, right? The bureaucracy that is within the state would be the centralized state. Do you not understand what nuance is?
Yeah, but there's a difference. I think that when we define a state, which is a criminal,
Okay.
a criminal organization, which it is.
How do we identify that it is a state? It's by its means and its actions. Correct?
It's a criminal organization, imposes a compulsory tax on innocent
You just
people.
imposed a law, by the way. Okay, I have a question.
I
How
didn't
do
say
you-
law.
how do you
When
know
did I
something
say
is a
law?
state? Okay,
When
does
it-
a state have to do an action?
when in-
Okay, stop. Just stop. Stop spurging. A state
I'm not
must
spurging.
do an action. Okay, for you to recognize something as a state, it must do an action, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you do identify the state by its means, not its claimed name, correct?
Well,
But
yeah.
it does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So when you
But I
use a
don't
private
consider-
company to enforce a rule of law, when you use a private company to enforce a rule of law with the same means the state does it, no matter the source that the means proceeds out of, it is acting in a stately affair, correct?
No, because they're not
No,
violating.
it's not, even though it's copying the means.
Oh, can I finish my sentence, please? I feel like I'm
You
being
can.
respectful to you.
All you've been ready to do is ask more and more questions rather than answer them.
I was trying to, but you're not allowing me to.
Anarcho-capitalists are just complete, like, contradictory retards. You guys are capitalists. Just get with it.
I guess he didn't want to hear my response, I guess. Okay. I feel like I was being
I
chill.
don't even realize what that was all about. What the fuck?
I feel like I was being chill. I don't think I was being rude or anything to him.
Yeah, you were. You're fine. Some people just like to be contrary.
I just wanted to respond to what he was saying to him, but I guess can't do that now because he's gone. Well, my friend left. He left. I don't know what happened to him. I had a friend with me earlier, but
No worries.
what's your name?
I am Corsi.
What do you think about anarcho-capitalism?
I don't really do politics.
Oh, okay. No problem. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto. Oh, I died. Shit.
No worries. Anyway, I gotta go to bed. I was just checking because the room is named JTC Room, and I was.
Well, I don't know how to change it. How do I change it? Well, anyways.
It should be like in the room abilities, but I think they've scrolled past by now.
Yeah, that's okay. Have a good one, man. What's up, Holden? Hey, I'm live streaming, by the way.
Okay, cool.
Cool, cool. How you doing, man? Good?
Alright. What about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Just playing some GTA. Some guy like spurked out at me in another room. It was pretty funny, and then left.
Oh
when
shit! What happened?
He was basically making the argument that because we use the private companies to enforce the non-aggression principle, they're acting in a stately way, which is literally the word that he said. And then I was like, well, then you're kind of making the word state lose all of its meaning, because that's like basically anytime, let's say if I hire my brother to protect me from somebody, is my brother now like a state now because he's giving me a hand with something, you know what I'm saying? And then he said, he was like, oh, he's acting stately. And then I was, yeah.
You can go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say one last thing, which was basically that he said that he's like, oh, all you anarcho-capitalists are retarded, and I was just basically like, and I was like, listen, dude, you know, if you call any private company that basically does what you call it, arbitration or anything like that, a state, then pretty much every private company would be a state. And then he said, yeah, Walmart is a state, McDonald's is a state.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I try and, you see, like, debates like that are just not productive at all. I mean, the dude is just gonna argue illogical things, and yeah, I'm not sure how productive it is. I mean, I could be wrong, you know, but
it's for content, honestly. That's really what it is.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Honestly, that's the reason why I do all the debate stuff.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, a while back, I guess, or somewhat a while back, I guess, I decided I would never do debates again on oral format. Just because, like, they're just so counterproductive. I mean, I can make an exception, right, for, like, if I debate some famous person, sure, yeah. But that's likely never gonna happen again. So
yeah.
And if it does, then yeah, I doubt it's gonna be like in public, or yeah, I'll try and do it, or I'll try and refrain from oral debates. But anyway,
but debate ends in catastrophe for opponent. Majoring in economics.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that debate was really short. It was the thing, the guy came in so smug about, not knowing what he was talking about, and he's like, well Rothbard never said that, something along to that effect. And I'm like, oh, well, actually, he did. And I quoted the passage. He's like, can you quote the passage? Or can you, like, you know, he said something like, can you show me where he said that? Can you show me the PDF or quote or whatever? So I showed him where he said that, what I was talking about. And I was like, this contradicts what you said earlier. So either one, you were wrong. This is a straightforward application of the law of non-contradiction. So you have to have been wrong. And so after that, I basically said, I'll just read it out loud so that I don't misquote. This is the most important thing I said. We may summarize this exchange as follows. You said, I would know because he didn't. You would, I'll repeat. You said, his quote, right? Start. I would know because he didn't. End of quote. Quote the exact passage. End of quote. Okay. Start of quote. I would know because he didn't. Quote the exact passage. End of quote. I quoted the passage where Rothbard explicitly says interest returns fall, rendering your statement, I would know because he, in brackets, Rothbard didn't. End of quote. Is erroneous. you now have two choices. One, admit implicitly or explicitly that you were incorrect and concede that I was correct. Or two, ignore me or respond by committing a logical fallacy. So he then goes on subsequently to say that nobody reads my Substack and a bunch of ad hominems, just a bunch of logical fallacies that I specifically said that he could choose to do. You could either choose that I'm correct, right? You could either accept that I'm correct, or you could go on and commit logical fallacies, and he decided to do the latter, unfortunately. And then he literally said like 8 different messages. Like, he was so mad after it too. It was like, it was the reason I posted that, like, usually I wouldn't humiliate someone, right?
Yeah.
But they were so smug and so self-satisfied about it, right? That that's why I did that. So, you know, sorry, buddy, like, if you're gonna come in acting all self-important, he's like, let's go through this together. He was talking to me like I was a kindergartner.
Yeah.
Like, he was talking to me like I was 5 years old or something. It's like, no, dude, like, you're wrong. Like, and you not only are you smug, but you're also wrong. Like, so yeah, I'm gonna leave that on the internet forever. That debate between you and me will be on the internet forever. But anyway.
Yes, it's going to be archived for all the Ancaps in the future to look back and laugh.
Dude, you know, soon I'm going to have soon I'm going to have like hundreds of pages of just debates like that. Because they come so often. Like, it's actually started. It's funny. They're coming more often because I'm in these Discord servers, and I just say something that'll provoke attention. And eventually someone will fall into the trap and debate me. And as long as I'm in a debate where I could text and I choose the subject, and it's not, if it's not verbal, if it's written format, then I will win every time. Every single time I will win so, you know, based on the standard of just truth and logic itself, like what's actually reality. But anyway, so I mean, I'm not saying like I'll win every time guaranteed, right? Of course, it's true that I could be wrong. Nobody is infallible, but yeah. Anyway, so I've
What's
yet
your
to
opinion
lose.
on
so far, my batting percentage is 100% here on these Discords. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just asking, what's your opinion on argumentation ethics?
I have very little to say about it. Just like when it comes to political, when it comes to, I guess that goes into, it goes into, you know. It goes into part of it is ethics, part of it is epistemology, part of it is you know, political theory, because it incorporate, you know, I guess, like, I would say, you know, what I'd say is, like, I don't really care that much, to be frank. Like,
me neither.
I mean, I think Kappa has like stuff that's worth reading. It's just not like, whenever he talks about politics and like, I just don't care that much. Political theory, I mean, I'm not even saying it's not important. It's just something that doesn't turn me on very much. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not really the right person to ask about it. But what about you?
Yeah, I don't really care that much about it. I'm more of an economics guy. I like economics.
That's me too, man. That's great.
Economics is burst, and it's fun, and there's a lot to learn, and it's a never-ending amount of shit to learn, you know? I'm like relearning Austrian economics, like economics through Austrian economics, you know? When I thought I knew and understood economics through the Chicago school, I'm like relearning it through the Austrian school. And it's pretty cool.
Okay, gotcha. Because you were, I don't know much about John Stossel. Like, I recently heard about him, but apparently he's got like a lot of followers. And secondly, yeah, I don't know like what school of economics he subscribes to, but I imagine it's not Austrian, right?
He's not gigantic into like, oh, I'm in this school or that school. Like, he's more
Sure, okay.
He's more just like, his thing is more like he kind of just exposes a lot of the BS that the government does is in his videos, and from that, he kind of just uses the basic economic like arguments that you hear from a lot of Austrians and Chicago school guys, but he doesn't go like that deep. You know what I mean? Enough to be like, oh, well, I'm a this, I'm a that. He's just more of like a free market guy. He's like a huge free market guy, and
so he'll
So he mostly makes arguments for the free market, basically.
Okay, got you. So if there's like rent control or something, he'll be like, "Oh well, you know this."
He'll be like, "Oh, it causes you know, the prices to go up and for new houses not to really be built because you know it becomes less you know this you know like he'll make the standard you know arguments that free market guys make." And
I don't know if I said price floor, but I meant price. I meant price ceiling, by the way. I meant price ceiling. I don't know.
But yeah, you don't need to be 100% exact. I know what you meant. But
yeah. Whatever. So, but yeah, no. Just so if someone's watching, like, oh, Holden said that.
Whoa, Holden, he screwed up in that one sentence.
Yeah. But Stossel.
You should definitely watch some of his videos. His videos are good.
I saw one of them. This is how I know him, like how I memorize his name, is because he did it. So I actually, I read Euron Brooks' book called Free Market Revolution, and in there, I don't know if you know who Euron Brook is, but
of course,
sometimes, So I listen to his show sometimes, but mostly his lectures on capitalism is what I listen to.
He has some good work.
So he had some good lectures on capitalism in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what drew me to him and really to objectivism, because I didn't know what objectivism was prior to Euron Brook, really. Or like Ayn Rand really at all. I mean, maybe I knew her name, but I just didn't really know her that much. And so Euron Brook kind of showed me, and also I was vaguely familiar with this dude named Michael Leibowitz too, but just like not very familiar at all with like who Ayn Rand was, what she thought, all that.
Yeah.
And whenever I listened to Euron Brook's talks on capitalism, I thought that I really was interested in like how philosophical it was, because I was coming from like human action and economics in one lesson and all these like different like economic like theory, right? Like, all this economic theory that tells you, oh, this and all these problems, right? But I didn't have any like moral defense per se, like of capitalism itself. Like all I knew was just like the economics, like or like some of the economics, right? Like I knew that basically the interventions that the government does are causing all these structural problems throughout the economy. Maybe it's justified like with the correct ethics, but you know, obviously like I'm like, no, okay. But I listened to Euron, and he never defended capitalism like anyone I've ever seen, because most of them just like appeal to consequences, I guess, if they're trying to like advocate for a system itself. And then, but yeah, so that interested me in doing that. I know it's kind of like a roundabout way of saying it, but yeah. So anyway, I listened to Euron Brooks' lectures, and he's one of my favorites to listen to. So he went on John Stossel's show, like. He went on John Stossel's show one time, I guess, and I watched that not too long back. I watched that, and so that's how I know John Stossel.
Yeah, you should listen to his books. His books are actually quite good.
Oh yeah, what is he? What did he write on?
He wrote basically "Give Me a Break," and then there was another one called what you call it? It's called "Give Me a Break," and then the other one was called "No, They Can't." And "No, They Can't" is basically "No, the government can't," where it's like making fun of Obama, where he says, "No, yes, they can't. Yes, we can. No, they can't." And it's basically the government, him saying to the government, like, "Yeah, no, you guys can't." And he lists off a whole bunch of things that people think that the government needs to do. And then he explains how the private market, how they don't need to do it, and the private market is way better.
Okay, got you. Okay, yeah, that sounds interesting. I mean, I like him already, right? I'm liking
Yeah,
him
he's
already.
awesome. His book is really his books are good too.
Yeah, no, I'm liking it already. It looks great. I'm reading his Wikipedia right now as we speak.
You want to watch a video of his?
Sure, we could do one quick one. I'm about to go to bed here in a second, but we could watch a quick video.
Let's see.
I'm about to take a shower and go to bed. That's literally what
Let's
I'm
see
about to do.
quick
But
something.
yeah, no, you
John
can play it.
Stossel, real quick. What's something good that we could watch really quick? I'm gonna look for his classic stuff.
What if
Okay,
before I could get my
here's a good video. Here, I'll stream it for you. All right, you see it? Good.
Let me see. Okay, yeah, I can see it now.
Good.
TV show, I
You
had
hear
to
it?
first get permission.
Yep.
What if before I could get my TV show, I had to first get permission from the competition? If Dan Rather or Diane Sawyer said no, I wouldn't be here. That makes sense?
R.J. Bruner of Kentucky assumed he could start a moving company without having to get his competitors' permission.
We'll schedule this one and this one first.
So he started one.
We put an ad on Craigslist, pickup truck and an enclosed cargo trailer, and we were very, very busy all summer long.
More people wanted your services. Now, in just a couple of years, you got 30 employees, 6 trucks.
Over 30 now. Clean-cut young guys. That really sells, in the moving industry.
This customer's pleased.
It's been great. The guys showed up exactly on time. They've been loading. They've been working hard.
But R.J. soon learned that pleasing customers isn't enough. He got a threatening letter from state regulators.
In order to continue to operate, we need a household goods permit. Basically, it's a certificate of necessity saying that there is room in the market for us to operate.
Certificate of necessity, meaning?
A necessity within the moving market in Kentucky for another mover.
What? A business has to prove it's needed to get a license?
You essentially have to get permission from your own competition first.
Tim Sanders, president of the Kentucky Movers Association. He has his own moving business. Kentucky, like half the states, allows existing companies to protest new competition. And over the past 5 years, 19 companies were prevented from entering the moving business because competitors said the existing transportation service is adequate. Competition would diminish their revenues.
Affordable Moving, Vincent Fisher, Hall Moving, all these other moving companies say no, we don't want to allow that. Well, what gives them the right?
We're not against new companies coming into Kentucky.
Yes, you are. You don't want a moving company stealing your business.
We don't want the scenario of a licensed company going bankrupt.
But companies go bankrupt all the time.
It's the end of the line for Circuit City. Borders bookstore went belly up.
It's part of the creative destruction that makes competition work.
Let's say a town population of 20,000 people. Would it be beneficial to the consumers to have 15 moving companies in that?
Yes!
Maybe. How do you know?
You'd have companies that are not in a position to provide a good service to the general public.
The bureaucracy can't decide whether there's a public need for a new moving company. Not even the moving companies know that. They have to try it and find out by an experiment. And these laws prohibit that kind of experiment.
Wouldn't Home Depot like to say, no, new hardware store in the neighborhood?
You can't believe
open.
that
Wouldn't
he sat
GM
down.
have liked to say that to Toyota and Honda?
Yeah, bro, he has interviews like this in like every one of his
I'm not the one that
shows.
set the law.
That's so
I'm just
funny.
abiding by the law.
I wonder how he gets the law.
He really exposes these
Also,
people.
He says the older moving companies want to
really
protect
is.
consumers from shady
He's doing
operators.
it in such a
Say I'm
polite
coming
way.
to pick up your furniture. Okay, I tell you it's $80 an hour. Well, then when I get to your new house, I say, well, I'm going to charge you $155 an hour.
Now we have this thing called the internet where people can find out if a company has a bad reputation.
Consumers go for the cheapest price, John.
Yeah, but he just was
Reese's
afraid
Beer
that someone
checked
charged
the
him
web before
$80
she
an
hired
hour.
RJ.
Now he's saying,
somebody-
oh, well,
yeah,
they're going to
company
charge them
poor
too
looks
little.
that they didn't take care of their items.
So what is it?
That would certainly, ring some alarm bells for me.
If consumers only care about the cheapest price, then
No,
why,
no
why do
complaints.
we have
In
more
fact,
expensive?
We are the top-ranked moving company in the state,
variations
according to
of-
Angie's list.
Of
Startups
sodas
like RJ's company.
Yeah. Yeah.
or houses or fucking any consumer good virtually.
Yeah. 100%. Well, because there's so much competition and anyone can enter the market, so it's beautiful.
Oh, I mean, yeah, consumers you could get a low quality steak or a high quality steak. Like you could get a shitty pizza that's gonna be, or you could get a really nice pizza. I mean, who the fuck is to say? Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, that's
The whole thing,
basically
that's
what those laws do. They basically say they allow the companies that are already in that area to be like, hey, you gotta ask our permission.
KingSithis is now live streaming Grand Theft
in
Auto
order to
5 debate Ancaps.
Yep, and if you don't get our permission, well, I guess you're not getting a fucking job. You know what I mean? So
you gotta hire us for your move. Unfortunately, whether we're good or not.
I mean, you heard it from the guy. He's like, why do you need this many companies? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why not? Like, who are you to say we have too many?
Exactly. Yeah, I could have said it
Create
better.
much of the job growth in America.
Entrepreneurs are the wealth creators of our society. They're the engine of innovation and progress and job creation and wealth creation.
I assume if I want to start a business, a moving company would be a good way to enter. Simple, you just need a truck, some strength. Go compete.
It should be. You buy a truck, you paint the word mover on the side of it, and you're in business. And if customers like your products and services,
Just
then
need a
they'll
couple
buy from
strong
you, and If
guys.
they don't, then they won't.
The regulators aren't just mean. For safety and an orderly marketplace, shouldn't there
And
be some
even if he's
rule?
oversimplifying
Orderly
the
marketplaces are
process,
precisely what we don't want. What we want is a free marketplace. If we have
just
an
let
orderly
the
marketplace, who's
entrepreneurs
doing the
and
ordering?
consumers decide,
It should be
like-
consumers who do the ordering. And the law stops them from doing that. Not to protect the public, but to protect established businesses against having to compete fairly. That violates liberty. These laws are outrageous and they all ought to go.
I love that, dude.
That's it. His videos are generally short and sweet, but they're really gut punching.
Yeah, he got to the point quick. I'm so once again, I'm shocked that the guy who was basically operating a cartel with the state sat down for an interview with him because he's got like this giant YouTube channel. Has over 1 million subscribers. Is crazy.
Oh, that was when he was on the news. That was when he was on the news. He was on the news first.
Oh yeah.
And then he became a YouTuber.
Really?
Mm-hmm. That was when he was on Fox News, or Fox Business or something like
that's
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. It's on
mhm.
his Wikipedia article that he was like a Fox Business Network host or something.
John Stossel was in Fox Business for years. He has tons and tons of really good documentaries, like a lot of good documentaries. And you could just I spent so many hours listening to his watching his documentaries, as well as listening to him interview people, as well as listening to his books. And it's just he just exposes the government in ways that you would have never thought. Like he really shows you ways that, like, damn, the government really screws up things in ways you would never even think.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Early life. Okay. Yeah, so he went to Harvard. While I studied in player.
He exposed that New York, they spent $2 million on a bathroom.
Okay, gosh, he went to Princeton. Okay, cool. What did you say?
You know New York. He exposed that New York spent $2 million on a bathroom.
How much?
$2 million on a bathroom.
On a bathroom?
Yes, a bathroom.
Was it like the greatest bathroom of all time?
No, it was just a normal bathroom. It was a park bathroom.
Wow.
Yep.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. It was a park bathroom, and they spent $2 million on it. And he went around asking people around it. He's like, "How much do you think this thing would cost?" And people are like, 200,000 at the most, 100,000. And he's like, "It cost $2 million." What?
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Yeah, he's a dope ass guy.
Yeah, like I said, I already love him. Cool. Well, I'll have to check him out more. Yeah, because I just seen him. I have only seen him do interviews, really. Like,
well, he does interviews too, a lot of interviews, but he's also done a lot of news stuff, like what we just watched too.
If someone was interviewing Euron Brook, I already suspect like that they're not a typical person, So like, they might be involved in like free market, or they stuff like not always, of course, but could be. And he by the questions he was asking, like in the video, I could tell that like he was leading Euron.
He's a free market guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's a free market guy.
He was one of the homies. He was one of the homies. He was one of the allies.
He was one of the homies.
Yeah, exactly. So,
me and my homies love free markets.
Yeah, exactly. Capitalism. I love capitalism, period.
Me too. Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Donut heist. All right, man. Have a good night, man.
All right, bro. Sounds good. I'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Howdy. You looking for the vault? Right up ahead.
Y'all here for the vault, yeah? Alright, you're gonna need your key cards to get into the man trap there. 2-card system. Swipe at the same time. Keep going! Yes! Come on! How much better does it feel when the marks are this dumb? Okay, so far so bueno. Push on to the vault. There'll be a guard there to meet you.
Oh, you're here. Why didn't they say something? Man, they never tell me nothing, I'll get it open for you.
I really hope this works out because I've been doing. I did this heist like twice already.
Oh, that's a heavy door. Ain't much getting through here.
All right. Maybe I should press this button. And this is all gold bars too. And he has like 3 minutes too. All right. No? Oh, there we go. Oh no, I gotta do this again. Fuck. Alright. Yeah. Alright.
40 seconds.
All right, well, not much left for me to do.
20 seconds left. Don't dawdle. Perfect. Now get out before they smell a rat.
$5 million. Holy shit.
Time's up. Here comes the nerve agent. Get the hell out of there before you get a lung fall. People, that is the mother load. We cleaned them out. All right.
Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. A CEO left. Wow. Wow. Well, that was a waste of time. But I guess it is what it is. But I created a new room so I could, if people could join and debate me. This guy doing something or what? Oh, I guess he was messing with his menus. Oh, damn it. Yeah, the controls are so defined in this game. I love it.
Luxury valet and concierge services are available to VIP members.
Hello.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Love your videos. I just joined to say that.
Really?
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man.
All right. I'm a go now. I love you.
You too. Thanks. That's so cool. Aw, that made me feel good. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm coming out with a new video soon, so I'm working on it. I just recently recorded everything, and I just gotta wait for you know, the editing process to finish and all that. You know, that's gonna take some time, but once I get that over with, once we get that done, we're good. I can upload it. It's gonna be on Why We Should Legalize All Drugs. It's gonna be epic. And I can't wait. It's probably going to be the most longest and detailed video I've...
We'll attack you again. Kill you or destroy this place and buy it for peanuts. I'm sorry. I know it's not a great way to do business.
No kidding, it's not a great way to do business.
It's all I got. My uncle is renting La Fuente Blanca Ranch.
Okay, we'll think about it. They'll think about it. Now get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. Gentlemen, madam, excuse me.
What do you think?
I cannot do such a thing. But maybe you can. For a lot of money.
For a lot of money. Ice cold, baby! Yeah! Ice cold!
All right. I think this might be the last mission. I'm not sure, but we'll find out. Hey, what's up, man? Oh, he left.
KingSithis is now live streaming Grand Theft Auto 5, Debate Ancaps.
Oh, fuck. Fuck, fuck, fuck. Bad controls, bad controls, bad control, bad controls. No! I'm dead. Fuck, 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 fuck. I fat fingered and I pressed buttons that I really should not have, and yeah. Restart. No! Fuck! How am I supposed to kill all these guys by myself? What's up, man?
Hello.
I think we should legalize all drugs.
I know, I saw it in the title.
Huh?
I saw it in the title.
I know.
How are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing awesome.
Alright, did you have a good day?
Hell yeah.
Alright, I'm happy for you, dude.
Yep.
Are you streaming on Twitch or?
TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. Yeah. Twitch, YouTube, Tick. Yeah, all of them. It's beautiful.
Okay. So you want to make all drugs legal? Does that imply? Why is that?
Because I think it's my body, my choice.
Could you extend on that, or?
Yeah, so in the end of the day, I'm the owner of my body, and I have the right to put whatever drugs I want into my body, so long as I'm not initiating force against any innocent person.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
I see. And you would how legal do you want it? Do you want it only for you? Only for kids?
I want it legal
Like,
for
can anybody
adults.
do it?
Adults.
So 18 months.
I mean, yeah, whatever ages makes you an adult.
I see. And you don't think that it can be harmful, even if said person is doing drugs, and harm people because they're drugged. Do you not see the problem?
I mean, yeah, drugs can be bad and it can harm people. Yeah, like I'll admit that. But that does not give you the right to force somebody not to do drugs if they want to.
So if you take that statement, can I drink and drive?
Well, it depends on where you are. If you're on somebody else's property and they don't want you to drink and drive on their property, then no. If you're on your own property, then yeah.
No, like in the street, for example. Like imagine I go out of the bar and I choose to drink heavily and drive because it's my body, my choice, whether I choose to be intoxicated and drive in the streets.
Yeah, it depends on who owns the road. If they say they don't want you to be drunk on that road, then you don't have the right to be drunk on that road.
Okay, so you want drugs to be legalized, but you cannot do drugs outside. You have to do them inside.
No, you're allowed to do drugs outside.
So you do drugs in somebody's
like if somebody
property,
invites you
which
to
is
their
the road.
property to do drugs, like you're allowed to do that. You're not harming anyone.
Yeah, but you want to legalize all drugs.
Yes.
So for example, what you're saying is that since you said to me that I can't drink and drive because it's somebody's road, right? And they don't want that. Isn't it also applied to drugs? Because technically you're doing drugs in somebody's property, and that's why.
Well,
it's
it depends
illegal
on
and
whether
they
or
don't
not
want
whether or not they want you to.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that the road is by the government. Therefore, if governments make it illegal, like drunken driving, that means that it's not like they don't want to. So it's their property, and you still have to, like, drink and drive, have to respect it.
I don't consider the state to be illegitimate.
So I can drink and drive right now.
I mean, you could drink and drive, but the state would stop you, and they would be violating your
And you
rights.
think that's fair, right? Because if I drink and drive, I make other people in danger.
Well, not necessarily. It depends on how you're
Why
doing it.
not?
Well, because if you're not crashing into anyone and you're not on anyone's property, then technically your drinking and driving doesn't harm anyone.
Yeah, but the problem is, on itself, it doesn't harm anyone, but it can harm. That's the problem.
Well, just because something has
Is
a
that-
percentage harm, a percentage like effect of a percentage chance of harming someone, does not then make it okay to throw people in prison for doing that thing.
Hello?
Do you hear me?
Oh, I'm lagging, sorry.
You know?
Could you repeat that? I'm very sorry.
Just because-
I lagged out for a second.
Yeah, just because you do something that might be risky or might have a higher chance of causing you harm, or does not make it okay for the state to stop you from doing that thing.
So it's okay for me to drink and drive, and if it causes an accident and kill innocent people, it's okay.
No, if you harm somebody, then you're violating another person's rights. But drinking and driving by itself is not an aggression. You're not harming anyone.
Is that they make it illegal so that it reduce the amount of fatalities. Because if you get into an accident, there's gonna be a lot of collateral damage, right? It's like saying, oh, somebody who doesn't know how to handle guns or isn't stable can own a gun, right?
I mean, if you take a drug and you harm somebody, it's the same thing as if you get into a car, you could still harm someone too, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing, is that when you make an accident, they try to see how come you made the accident. That's why we do tests. Otherwise, we would just not have people take tests and
So
drive.
basically, you're saying
It
that
just
a
made
simple
life-
act of driving a car shouldn't be illegal. It's when you get into an accident or cause an accident that should make it illegal.
Yeah, and that's the same
Well, then
thing
I
with
feel the
drunk
same way
driving.
about drugs. Like, I think people
Yeah, but
should be
drugs
allowed to
have a
do.
stronger effect.
No, not
The thing
necessarily.
is that drugs makes you some drugs make you not viable for driving.
Not necessarily.
So you don't think that
Yeah, but
a
I'm
lot
not
of
talking
drugs make
about.
you...
I mean, you're talking about driving, but I mean, putting aside driving, do you think people should not be allowed to do drugs even if they're on their own property?
I mean, if you're on your own property, I don't have any problem. But the thing is that some drugs are harmful, because not only are you could live, like, if you live alone, there's a high percentage that you won't, like, get caught doing drugs, right? If you do it alone, if you do it singly, that's why there's not a lot of if a cop catches you
Yeah, but
inside your home
you could still
doing
get
drugs,
arrested. You could still get arrested, right?
yeah, but like it's less of a problem.
If a police
The problem
officer
is when...
sees you doing drugs in your own home, they'll throw you in jail.
Yeah, but how come they can see you do drugs in your own home?
That's kidnapping. Let's say they just stumble upon it.
So yeah, but you know that police actually, how do I say that? Police actually see the amount of drugs that you have. I don't know if it's the same in like doesn't it have a certain amount of drugs that you can own before they start suspecting you of doing drug trafficking or drug selling?
It doesn't matter. I don't think any amount of drugs should be made illegal.
Yeah, but what if, for example, you have a lot of drugs and they get stolen, or they, you can have yourself the autonomy to, like, be like, oh, but I take drugs, I'm fine. But the problem is, it doesn't just apply to you; it applies to everybody, right?
Yeah, but I think that everyone should be allowed to do drugs if they want to.
Yeah, but the problem is that some of them are harmful, and in fact, it's like drunk driving.
So what? Some people drink and drive. Okay, so then we should ban cars so that people don't ever get into drunk driving. If we banned cars, nobody would ever get into a drunk driving accident ever again.
Yeah, but the problem is banning cars doesn't really do the solution. It's drunk driving. Like when I said, it's literally drunk driving.
Well, yeah, but if we banned cars,
drunk enough.
You have to be in a car.
Cars if we can just ban drunk driving, so people aren't as willingly to do it. It's the same with drugs. If we ban harmful drugs, they can harm others and yourself, right? Apart from yourself, because
yeah, but you could harm another person in a car, right?
Yeah, but you agree with me that banning drunk driving reduce the amount of incident that can happen,
I don't care.
Right?
I don't care.
So you don't care that it reduces and it prevents people from making bad choices and having fatalities?
Yeah, I don't think the government's job is to prevent people from making bad choices. I think that if a person gets into an accident and they harm another person,
you said
right?
Earlier that as long as it doesn't harm somebody else's right, it's okay. But you want to make it less. You want to make it less preventable.
KingSithis is now live streaming Grand Theft Auto 5 debate Ancaps.
While saying you don't care. Where is the logic in that?
No, what I'm saying is if you aren't harming another person and you're just doing a drug and you're not harming another living person, and you should be allowed to. Whereas you're talking about a person getting into an accident, but you could drink and get into a car and not get into an accident. Like, that is possible.
Yeah, but you can. But the thing is that that's why we try to prevent it. Like, it does. Even if somebody have 30 years of drunk driving and they never got into an accident, the risk is still there. Everything has a risk.
It's so we should stop. We should ban cars. We should ban cars in the hopes to stop people from getting into an accident.
Why would we ban cars?
Because people kill people with cars.
Otherwise, isn't it more better to make roads safer and to have people take more?
No, because if we banned cars, there would be no more accidents, like, at all. Like, there would be 0 car accidents.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the answer to just make it safer. So
no. If we make it 100% safer, we would make it 100. We would make it 100% safer if we banned it outright.
No, because a lot of things can still, because it doesn't make people's life easier on its own.
It will. Well, actually, how about this? Maybe instead of banning cars, we just make it so that nobody's allowed to drive a car unless you go to these pre-approved areas, like
that's what I just
by the
said.
government. So you're not allowed to go to the store unless the government says it's okay for you to go to the store.
What? No. You just make it safer for people.
Wait, so then let's say you want to go to your friend's house, but the government says no. You would say, yeah, that's fine, because they're making us safe.
You just said, why not make it more safer by taking more precaution and
so then
driving?
If we did that, if we took that precaution, we would lower the amount of drunk driving around, right?
Yeah, and the drunk driver is still legal. And trying to sanitize people.
I mean, but if we made drinking alcohol illegal, or if we also made driving also illegal, then that would basically make it so that there is 0 drunk driving accidents ever.
Yeah, but we try to not limit the autonomy of people.
I know we shouldn't do that.
Like
I know.
balance.
I agree. But I don't think
you're like taking the extreme of making your autonomy the priority over somebody's right. That's why we try to prevent, like you said.
Wait, but if I'm not harming anyone, why should I be stopped?
Yeah, because that's the thing. It's a law. It's generalized. Like it doesn't matter if you respect it. The problem, if you respect it, then you're probably not gonna have cops coming to your house if you do it in a certain fairly amount.
Yeah, but people do it in a respectful way, and they still get thrown in prison.
How come they still thrown in prison if they do it
because
in
it's
a
illegal
and discreet way?
Because it's illegal.
Wait, give me an example. If you have an example.
So if I'm sitting on if I'm driving home, and the cops pull me over, do you want me to send you a link, bro? I got you. I'm sorry, I'm live streaming.
No problem.
Basically, if I'm sitting on my own property and I'm not harming anyone, right? The government can literally stop me from doing drugs. They could throw me in prison.
Yeah, that's because they saw you.
Yeah, cheers.
That means that you aren't discreet and respectful.
Yeah, but who do I need to respect? I'm on my own property.
Yeah, but what do you mean you're on property? You're inside the house? You're outside?
What have I done wrong? Whose rights have I violated? If I do drugs.
But where are you? Are you outside? Are you inside? Where's the?
I'm outside on my. Let's say I'm driving home. I haven't harmed anyone, and the government just says, "Hey, we we want to stop you from doing drugs now."
Okay, so you're high or like you're on drugs, whichever drugs you is. You're driving, but you're not hurting anyone. But you're still high.
No, I'm not high. I'm just driving home.
But you're on drugs.
No, I'm not on drugs. I'm driving home, and if I get pulled over and they find drugs in my car, they're gonna throw me in prison.
Yeah, but that's because they don't know. Yeah, but that's the thing is that you're gonna get fined for having drugs.
Yeah, why? That's a criminal. Yeah, why? I haven't harmed anyone.
Bottles of alcohol, and they're gonna test your alcohol level and like your.
Yeah, but I have wait. I haven't done any drugs. I haven't done any drugs or alcohol in this example.
Okay, then you're probably just gonna pay a fine now. Just for
yeah, so
drugs
I'm gonna be criminalized and robbed because I did a drug and I didn't harm anyone.
Depends how many drugs he has on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if I don't harm anyone. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if you harm or not anyone. That's the thing is that that's the severity of the crime depends on how bad things are. If you just had the drugs and you do a drug test, and it come back negative, so you didn't do any drugs, you're just gonna get fined for having.
Yeah, but I shouldn't. Even if I'm positive for the drugs, why should I get in trouble?
That's the thing is that maybe you don't do it, but what if a person who have drugs on his vehicle do drugs and cause problems? Right?
Yeah, but what if you can do drugs and not harm another person, right?
Krishan, I want to ask you to
open. You can also do drugs and harm another person.
Open a ticket. No, bro, I need to talk to you real quick, Mac.
Go. Yeah, thanks.
Like that's the thing is that you can still do them and not harm anyone, and you can still do and harm. That's why we try.
Yeah, but
to
you could
prevent.
drive in a
That's why
car
we-
and still
that's
harm
why we
someone,
also
right?
Say that. That's why we also say that drunk driving can kill people, right? That's why it's illegal, because no matter how many people can drunk and be confident that they can, that they can not cause fatalities or do accidents, we still prevent it by making it illegal, so less people do it, so there is more
Yeah, so
harm.
we should
Why don't
make
we
it.
just make cars illegal?
Yeah, we should make cars
Like,
illegal.
Just make the cars illegal, because people have done tremendous harm with cars.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, but
my
we try not
gosh.
to reduce people autonomy to the point where they cannot have a good accommodation to how society is right now. Like we can also say that instead of making all cars illegal, because there's always there is never a no risk thing. We make it we make it test driving more harder, so people actually have more chances of not getting into accident.
Right, but don't you see that there's it's quite subjective how you're going about it. Like, where's the exact line? Where do you
Where
draw
we
this
don't
line?
prevent people's autonomy, but at the same time we respect it enough.
Yeah, but
so
preventing my
people
autonomy.
do less
Wait,
casualties, like drunk
But you
driving
are.
or doing
But
drugs.
don't you see that contradiction? So you want to preserve people's autonomy while restricting it.
No,
Mm-hmm.
that's literally, you try to find a balance. Yes, sorry, I said no, but you try to find a balance so people can actually have a somewhat safer thing. So you'd agree with me that drunk driving should be illegal, right?
No.
No,
Drunk driving shouldn't be illegal.
you're not.
No,
It's
it
not. You're not
shouldn't be.
violating anyone's rights.
Well, I
So-
mean, well, do you think you should drive under? Do you
No, I
think you should
think
drive
this is
under
an
the?
issue. This is an issue that insurance companies can handle.
Yep.
Okay, well, so you think
So-
people should drive under the influence of drugs?
Should.
No, that's not what I said. I said it shouldn't be illegal. I
Yeah.
think there are other ways that we can combat this stuff. I think insurance companies would do a fine job regulating this stuff instead
So
of
wait,
the state.
Yeah, so
what
if
do
you
you
have a
mean
private
insurance
road-
company would do great with this stuff? Like, how would they handle it when it's
Okay,
an
well,
accident
think-
that causes death?
Well, think about it. Would an would an insurance company insure you if you were a known drunk, or if
Yeah, but the problem is
if you were
where's the point where an insurance company, even though they will like insure the fact that you're probably, if you're drunk driving and you cause an accident, they'll probably cover it. The problem is that once
they
the
will cover
accident
it.
happen, it can be fatal. It can be literally fatal, or like just hurt somebody to the point of handicap.
Yes.
That's
So,
the
but
thing
wait,
they try to
if you
prevent.
are an
Sure,
owner,
sure,
hold on,
sure.
guys. If you're an owner, hold on. If you're an owner of a road, right? You can make it. You could say, "Hey, I don't want any drunk drivers on my road," and then we could privatize the roads, and then all the privatized roads could just be like, "Hey, we don't want drunk drivers on our roads," and then boom,
But that's just
you're
so
good.
that's just so like we already have an easy solution to this to illegalize drunk driving. Why
Well, it's an
legalize?
immoral
Why,
Because you're
why-
you're not
why-
violating
but
it.
no, no, no.
Drinking and driving by itself doesn't violate anyone's rights.
But well, it kind of does.
Yeah, but
I mean,
the
if
fact
No, it
you're
that
drunk,
doesn't.
it causes an
Hold on,
accident
wait,
and it
hold on. Can I
happens
get a
so much that it gets banned.
can I get a word out?
Sure.
Real quick.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sure.
Why legalize things that are bad for you? Like, why would we? And you're saying that it's taking away no one's rights if we drink and drive, brother. Drinking and driving, the driver could literally kill like a family of 5.
You
in
could kill a
vehicular
family of 5
manslaughter.
without being in drunk driving, right?
No,
Yes.
yeah, and the
They try
chances
to
of you being
prevent it.
the chances of you being drunk.
So we should ban cars.
And the chances of you killing a family of 5 in a car crash and you just ban cars is 0.
Yeah, if you
Okay,
banned
then
all
let's ban
cars, there
No,
would be
it's not.
0 people getting killed by drunk drivers.
I'm sorry, bro. What you're saying is like so retarded right now.
How is it
are you
retarded?
supposed to say how
You're,
like,
you're going
hey,
through the extreme. Sorry, go ahead.
you're just like saying like how do you think people are allowed to be able to drunk or to be drunk, high, and drive?
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's say you're on your own property, there's nobody around you for 10 miles, and you're drinking and smoking weed while you're driving. Whose rights are you violating?
Yeah, and you're on your own property.
And you're on your own property.
Okay, so if you're on your own property and you're driving on your own property, then that's fine. Like
Okay, so then
Yeah, that's the
driving.
thing.
So my point is, drinking and driving within itself is not violating anyone's rights. It's when you
Unless
when you crash into somebody and harm another person, that's when you violate another person's rights.
Yeah, but that's why when these
That's
roads
exactly why it's illegal.
Yeah, but I
owned
don't
by
think
the
it should be. Yeah,
government,
but you just
they can
contradicted
literally
yourself.
say, yeah, but that's why the governments own these roads and say that it's illegal to drunk drive.
Well,
Exactly.
I don't believe the state could own a
And
road.
it's the
But
same.
putting that
Yeah, but you don't
aside,
believe it, but somebody
hold on.
owns it,
Putting
and
that aside, let me
there's the
respond. Hold
government
on. One
so
sec.
that-
Just let them speak, bro. Holy shit.
Well, putting that
No,
aside
wait a
is
second.
that
Take your
I want to
Adderall, take your
respond.
Adderall or Vyvanse or whatever.
But
and
yeah,
just
but
calm
you
down.
gotta wait. You gotta wait until I stop, until I finish my point. Otherwise, it's not a debate. It's just people
I
arguing
wanted to
over each
argue
other.
his point, and then you jumped in. So I just want to argue his point real quick. But even you just contradicted yourself by basically saying, "Oh, well, if you're on your own property and there's nobody around you for 10 miles, and you're drinking and smoking weed and while you're driving, that should be legal. But we should outright stop every person from drinking and driving." So it's just like, wait a minute, should we ban all drinking and driving or not?
So wait, you want to tell me that you want to drink and drive in your own property?
Yes.
Where no one is.
Yes. Why
Then
not?
do that, bro. I mean, if no
But should
one
it be
is on your
illegal?
if no one's driving.
Okay, so
on
then
your
you don't think it
property-
should always be illegal to drink and drive?
Well, if you're on your own property, then I think it's retarded to drive if you're drunk. But if it's on your own property, then do what you like, bro.
All right. So it shouldn't always be illegal to drink and drive, right?
I think it
Yeah,
should
but you're
be illegal.
saying
I
it's
think
like
it
you're
should be
saying
illegal to
like
drive on a road. Yeah. Well, if you're drunk.
Yeah, but what if I own the road?
You can't own a road, buddy.
Yes, you can.
Of course you can.
You can't own government
Can you
roads.
own a road in America?
The state doesn't own the road neither. They stole it.
Brother, like so you think that you can just go out, you can buy like all the fucking streets.
You never
you
heard
can
of a
buy all
toll
the
road?
roads. Okay,
So-
but listen. So you're telling me
Please
you just
join
want to
Rabbi
buy every single road
Rothschild's
so you can
Discord,
drive and crash into people
discord.gg's.
and then say it's their fault because they were on your property.
So wait, a question, right?
Wait, say that again? All right, go ahead. Willow.
So you're like you want to preserve people's autonomy, right? Earlier you told me, yeah, as long as I can drunk drive or do drugs and driving and I don't crash and ruin another autonomy, it's fine. But now you want to own roads, which is a collective thing where the governments can actually, they take your taxes and they make the road so that anyone and they don't only take your taxes, they take everyone's taxes
That's
so they can
theft.
make roads. So you wanna take the owning thing, make it private for yourself, and having this road being not able for people to drive and taking away their rights.
I never
This
said
is what
that.
you want to do.
I never said
People
that.
have rights to
well,
roads.
well,
I
Yeah,
said
but
that.
like,
Wait, you guys
Everyone
never
has
heard of a
rights.
toll
Everyone has-
road?
Everyone has a right to drive on a road. A road wasn't
you
made
don't.
for one person. It's made for everyone. It's made for every single
don't.
vehicle
You can just own
to
a road.
operate.
That's not
You don't-
true.
you don't have a
a
right.
car from China comes
Can you
here, he can't drive
look,
here.
bro? Just stop being retarded, okay? And actually be real. Like you can't own every single fucking road, then drunk drive in it, and then
No,
crash
well, you
and
can
then
own
say
a
it's their
single
fault.
road, right?
You can own a single road. Fine, you can own a single road, but
So let's say
still
I
your
owned
fault.
Let's say I own a single road and I'm driving on that road and I'm drunk. I should be allowed to do
if you're
that.
driving on if you're driving on a road, I thought you said on your property, like
Yeah,
in
but
a
that road
field
is
or
my
some shit.
property.
Yeah, but like I thought you meant driving in a field or some shit where there's no cars. If you're driving
No,
on
he
a place,
wants a
if you're
road.
driving in
What
a
if,
place with
what if
cars,
I'm
why-
driving
let-
on
let
a
me- let
road
me
that
speak,
I
nigga.
own? Whoa, don't say that. I'm live streaming. I'm live streaming, dude.
Let
Chill.
let me speak.
Don't.
please.
You know what? No, I'm gonna kick you out respectfully. Yeah, I'm gonna kick him out real quick. Because when I told him don't say that, he didn't say, "Oh, I'm not gonna say that." He said, "Don't interrupt me." So not cool. Yeah, I got him. He knew he got destroyed in the argument, so he had to resort to saying the N-word.
Throwing a party at your penthouse? Speak with guest services and the evidence from last night's debauchery will be cleaned right away.
Thank goodness. What? Did I accidentally kick him? Oh, internet is out. No problem. So is that it? Oh, I got $700,000 from that. I guess that's better than nothing, right? Let me try the Diamond Casino heist one more time and see if that works. Man, I really hope this works out.
Check your VI number. Chip delivery, huh? Sure. Go straight through and leave her on the left. You can take the elevator or stairs down to the vault.
I thought you were gonna get shot in the face for a second there. Okay. Now get in the elevator and remember, inconspicuous.
Inconspicuous. Yeah, inconspicuous, alright.
big security check's coming up. You can do this. You keep your cool. Don't be nervous, you know?
Howdy. You looking for the vault? Right up ahead.
Y'all here for the vault, yeah? Alright, you're gonna need your key cards to get into the man trap there. 2-card system. Swipe at the same time. Yes! Come on! How much better does it feel when the marks are this dumb? Keep going! Okay, so far so bueno. Push on to the vault. There'll be a guard.
Oh, you're here. Why didn't they say something? Man, they never...
Hey, that art looks expensive to me. Let's give it a new home. Good news. Seeing as we stayed under the radar, we have a little more time here. Now, your hacker can block the security sensors while you're in the vault, but only for a while. If the system goes quiet for too long, it triggers the alarm as a failsafe. And, did I mention that if the alarm goes off in here, they'll flood the place with nerve agent? No? Okay, well, I'm mentioning it now. If you're making good time in there, try getting into some of the lock boxes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't just be okay with you just cutting the fucking mail, like, I mean, not like that. Oh, hey, what's up, Trex?
Yeah, my internet just turned back on. There you go. Did everyone leave?
Well, the one guy said the N-word, so I kicked him out, and the other woman left.
That's interesting.
What's somebody message us in the chat?
Yeah, I was busy last night. Gotta get some sleep now. Wizard in exile.
Or Sithis all alone.
Yeah,
I know.
Anyway, but my internet's back now. Now we can talk.
Yeah, now we can hang out and be best buds.
Yeah, be best buds. Man, you know that was Cameron had an interesting hypothetical that drove me to like kind of bring a like, you were there for most of it, right? So it kind of drove me to bring like a kind of like an innovation to praxeological thought. That it was just such an interesting question that it forced me to innovate in our theory.
Go ahead.
Right. Well, it's being that communication, right, and action, right, are almost synonymous with one another. So like, right.
We're adding more to the theory every single day.
I know, like, because remember, you remember the hypothetical, right? Is that a rational actor that cannot argue, right? So, right, and I was just thinking, right? Well, okay, so like, given the hypothetical, I think that is impossible, right? Because if he's just saying like, oh, there's this rational acting being, right, that I don't know, that exists in the world somehow. He can homestead things, right? He knows that he can homestead things, right? Homesteading, right, is a right. It's a communication, right? The communication is this is mine, right? Right. But then if someone tries to steal that, that is also a communication saying, no, this is actually mine, right? So in a sense, it's kind of like a proto argument, right? And now I figure if these two beings can do that right, why can't they? Why can't these beings devise a language, right, or something, right, and have it so they can actually argue about it, right? But yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to Grok about it last night.
Yeah, you know what? I don't blame you, dude. I do the same thing with AI sometimes because I was trying to have
Yeah.
conversations with it about the differences between Austrian school and the Chicago school and all that. And I didn't really understand it, so I went and studied it a little bit.
Yeah.
Someone fucking left.
No, how dare they, right? And so practically, right, is that and then as well it kind of goes into metaphysics as well, and so like I kind of deduce that an actor that cannot argue cannot exist. It's impossible.
A ractano actor that cannot communicate does not exist.
Yeah. And well, wait, cannot communicate, cannot argue in any real way. It's just I don't think
Unless they're
it
brain
can
dead,
exist.
but then they would just be dead.
Well, yeah, that's not. He ceases to be an actor.
So brain dead people are pretty much dead.
Yeah, they're dead. They cease to be actors. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Might write about that one day.
This is why we need to abolish all women.
True.
I'm tired of women rejecting me all the time, telling me they don't want to be with me. It just pisses me off. So, I think we need to abolish any more women.
See, I've never had an IQ test before, but then I asked Grok to give me to see what he or what it thinks my IQ is. Where is it? Where is it in this conversation that I had? My Grok.
Grok.
All right, just to amuse me, what do you think my IQ is? Based on our conversation, I'm pegging you around 145 to 150.
Me?
No, me.
The highest.
That's what Grok said. That's what Grok says my IQ is. So.
The highest that I could ever. The highest.
But see, that's what happens when you're so invested into theory. You know, you just. It's crazy.
Theory, am I right? Just here, sitting, hanging out. Us theory boys. Theory bros. As they like to call us.
Have you looked more into argumentation ethics yet, Mr. Sithis?
I feel like I understand the basics, but I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really looked too deep into it. I've just been studying Austrian economics as much as I can.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I feel like my channel is
Okay.
mostly about economics at this point.
Well, your drug video that'd be going to ethics, right?
Yeah, but I use a lot of like arguments that are like based on like Austrian of supply and demand and things like that.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, it is definitely an ethical argument. I do have couple ethical videos, but also having some, economic videos.
Yeah, very good. Very. I have a question for you, Sithis. How did you come up with the name KingSithis?
I used to call myself Kingslayer, but that name was taken already.
Yeah.
So I thought KingSithis was better. Because Sithis was from Skyrim. And I thought that name was so cool.
Damn. How old were you when you came up with it?
20-something.
20, crazy. I came up with my name, T-Rexamon, when I think I was around 10. And I made it for Pokemon Go. And Trex was taken, and so I thought, Trexamon, yeah.
It's kind of funny, like when people always be like, "Oh, I had this name, but it was already taken, so I chose this."
Yeah, that's how you make your name.
What's up?
Yeah, so I chose Sithis because it was the leader of the Dark Brotherhood, which is really cool.
That's cool. You know what you look like? You look like a Juan.
Juan. That's kind of racist.
Yeah. No, it's not racist. You know.
That's like saying you look like a. I don't know, the crocodile hunter.
One meme.
What's that guy's name?
Yeah.
The crocodile hunter guy?
Paul Hogan. That's the actor. The Crocodile Dundee. I think his name's Mick in the movie.
Busy. Feeling a little off?
I'll send you the meme. This is what you remind. Oh, Jesus Christ! Shut up. This is what you remind me of. KingSithis.
What? Is that fucking cow? Is that a horse? I said cow.
That's a horse on a balcony. It's fun.
It's beautiful.
I know. That's what
I can't argue with that, man.
I know. You know what I would love? I would love a horse on my balcony. I have a balcony right here. And it would be awesome if there was a horse there. Do you have a horse, KingSithis?
No, I don't have a horse.
Why don't you have a horse?
I can't. You think I could afford a horse?
Well, how much is a horse?
Horses don't sound like they're cheap. What's up, Pope Leo?
Hello,
Yo.
KingSithis.
What's up?
It's Pope Leo.
Good, thank you.
Huh?
Wow. It's actually Pope Leo. Like,
Pope Leo, man.
Oh, yeah, Pope Leo.
What gives me such the honor of having Pope Leo in my Discord?
Yeah, Pope Leo the 14th.
Right. The Pontifex Maximus.
Yes.
The highest bridge.
We need to legalize all drugs. What do you think about that?
They did that in Oregon. They did that in Portugal too. I heard they did pretty good.
No, they decriminalized the drugs.
What's the difference?
Well, fully legalizing means that you're allowed to sell it too.
Hmm. I don't think that should be for really
And
hard
prostitution.
things.
Yo, what's up, Chad? Is that it?
Chad.
What's up? What a Chad. It's the legalize all drugs room where we talk about why we should legalize all drugs.
Oh wow, look, we're finally getting.
We're getting some people. Hey, what's up? What's up, guys? What's up?
A room must have died or something.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, my goodness.
He kicked me. He kicked trans people are bad.
Trans people are damn.
Well, I don't care about trans people. I think they're fine. I don't have a problem with them.
Who's the dumbass who thinks drugs should be legalized?
Me.
Why the fuck would you believe such a horrible thing?
Because I think it's my body, my choice.
So if I want to just develop a severe fentanyl addiction and start just being homeless and doing fentanyl all the time, that's okay.
If that's what you want.
That's kind of crazy, man. Are there any should there be any limits to bodily autonomy at all in society, or
Aggressions.
are you just an anarchist?
Aggressions.
Sorry?
Aggressions. Like if you steal or harm someone, that would be a limit. But other than that,
What did I even do? I don't even know who you are, Chad. Why are you chatting?
What?
other than that, people should be allowed to do what they want.
Yeah, man. I think we need to have a little bit more of a paternalistic society, if you know what I mean. I think we need to tell people what's right and wrong. I don't think allowing people to do degenerate, harmful, unhealthy shit is a good thing.
Well, one murder kills another person. That's an aggression. So I don't know if you were here earlier. I did specify, not you, somebody else. I did specify I'm against aggression. But to respond to you.
Well, no, but I'm saying if you're a mentally ill person, or you don't even have to be mentally ill. If I sell you fentanyl and then you take that fentanyl and then you die, I knowingly gave you something that could kill you. So in my opinion, I'm partially responsible for your death at that point.
Should poison be illegal?
But can you apply? But you need to apply that to everything, right? What if,
should poison be illegal?
What if sells you kitchen knives, and then you just
should guns be illegal?
Kill yourself with those kitchen knives.
Well, there's a difference. So if I give you a kitchen knife if you say, "Hey, I'm thinking about using a kitchen knife to kill myself," and then I give you a kitchen knife, then yeah, that's kind of what you're talking about. However, under normal circumstances, if I give someone a kitchen knife, the implication isn't that they're going to use it for violence. If I give you fentanyl,
the implication is
wait, hold on. If I give you fentanyl, if I'm a street dealer and I deal you fentanyl, there's nothing else you're going to use that for besides getting high. there's no other motive that you could.
Yeah, but
I could
you could take fentanyl without dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't negate what I'm saying, though.
It does, because just because someone sells you fentanyl doesn't mean you're necessarily responsible for what they do with it.
Something I tell myself. So
Well, no, but again, people the reason people die from fentanyl is from taking fentanyl. The only difference.
Yeah, but that's their choice.
That's the only difference.
That's their choice. It's not. I'm not responsible for that. You can say the same thing about alcohol. If alcohol.
Well, yeah, no, and if exactly, that's a good comparison. And if I go into a bar and I'm already incredibly drunk, they can't legally serve me because that's dangerous to my health. That's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but if I'm not harming anyone, and that person chooses to take the alcohol, and I sell it to them, and they choose to drink it, I'm not responsible for that person for what they do.
You might not necessarily be responsible, but the whole thing is that as a society, I would hope that we at least a little bit care about each other, so we wouldn't
I mean,
give
I would
someone
probably.
a substance that's gonna hurt them.
I'm
right?
just as a friend to a friend or a man to a man, I would probably tell the guy, hey, we shouldn't do this, right? But do I think people should be legally prohibited from being allowed to sell to another person just because they're drunk? No, because in the end of the day, they're not doing anything wrong. Legally, they're not aggressing against it. They're not violating anyone's rights.
Yeah, I guess we just have a different value system. Say just because you're not hurting anyone else, like doesn't mean that you should just like be able to do whatever you want to. Like,
Well, yeah, why not?
Well,
I mean, if I want to have sex with a prostitute, you know, the state will come to me and like throw me in jail. Like, why? Like, I should be allowed to do that. That's my body. It's my choice. If she's okay with it,
just to stick with the drug example or the drug argument. The thing is that like people can have different states of mind over time. So what I'm saying is that like if someone is in a bad state of mind where like they might think it's a good idea to take a bunch of fentanyl and overdose and die, like the people around them, be it their friends, their family, or the state in this case, has an obligation to stop them from doing that. Because like other
so should we stop smokers from smoking? Because like they're all of them?
We should. I mean, I think we should ban cigarettes in some way. How
in
exactly
some way? What do you mean by like
conversation.
ban in some way? You either ban it or you don't ban it.
Well, no, I think it was the I want to say it's the Maldives just made a law that anyone under anyone who was born in 2007 or later can't buy cigarettes. So it's like a gradual sort of thing. So they're not going to be completely banned until like 60 years from now or something like that. The thing is that like you couldn't just practically do that in the US right now, but like we should do that though. It's just a matter of how to do it.
Well, okay.
Wait, so I shouldn't be allowed to smoke a cigarette?
Okay, well, okay. Let's just look at what's happening in Australia right now. Right, like we haven't banned it, right? But cigarettes are very expensive here due to like government excise, right?
Yeah.
And what's happening here, right, is that it's basically made this massive black market, right? And what's happening, right? You're having these smoke shops, just getting firebombed, and just all of this horrible organized crime, right, is happening because, right, of cigarettes just being extremely expensive, right? And now if you just ban cigarettes, you're just going to make it so much worse.
Yeah, all the crime that's associated with sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was just saying all the crime that you see that's associated with like the gang-on-gang violence within the United States, most of it is due to drugs, like them trying to like sell drugs on turfs, and then they fight with each other, and then they shoot each other.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see that with other like pharmaceutical companies who sell drugs that are just as dangerous, if not more.
Yeah, I mean, wait, you just aren't looking. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Well, how many? Wait, when was the last time you seen a pharmaceutical company do a drive-by on another pharmaceutical company?
No, I'm talking about people selling pharmaceutical drugs on the streets and killing people for. That happens every day.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the company. We're talking about the company itself. We're talking about the company itself.
Well, wait, hold on. Just to respond to the Australian guy, we did this. Like, I have friends in New Zealand, and I think New Zealand's doing something pretty similar. So, the tax in New Zealand and Australia is like 4 times what it is in the U.S. But like, no, like cigarettes in the U.S. like 40 years ago, it used to be like $1 a pack, and now they're like $10 a pack. So we did the same thing here, and like as far as I'm aware, we don't really have an issue with like cigarette black markets here. So, I don't think that issue is.
Well, that's because it's not illegal. And
no, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing that the Australia guy was talking about, where it's like exponentially more expensive to smoke now than it was like 50 years ago.
Yeah, but it may be more expensive, but it doesn't stop people from smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, but it's like
it does. It reduces demand.
No, it doesn't, because people still smoke cigarettes. The same amount of, I mean, there may be less people smoking cigarettes, but I would not argue it's due to the fact that we raised the prices of cigarettes. I would argue it's due to the fact that people realize that smoking is bad.
I disagree, because I can only speak anecdotally about that, but like when I smoked cigarettes, I probably would have smoked like 2 or 3 packs a day if I was able to afford it. Like I wasn't able to afford to
you can afford to smoke 2 or 3 packs a day if you go to your local smoker shop and buy tobacco yourself and roll it up yourself.
I'm saying for most people, like I'm looking
for
at
most,
aggregate,
you think most people can't go to a smoke shop and roll their own tobacco up?
Most people don't have the patience to do that. Most people don't don't.
Well,
do
that's
that.
their choice.
Most
but the idea that they don't have the ability to is incorrect, or the
well, because I'm saying
to.
like I've spoke to pretty much most of the people I've known throughout my life that have smoked cigarettes. They would have smoked more cigarettes if they had like the financial ability to. So like I don't really see how. Yeah.
I don't think it's right to punish the poor. I don't think it's right to punish the poor. Sorry, I was just gonna say I don't think it's right to punish the poor for their bad habits. If somebody wants to smoke a cigarette, and that's the choice that they want to make, I mean, you're just basically harming people who are less fortunate and being like, oh no, you got to pay now more
those
now.
are the people we want to target, right? We do want to target
No,
the poor.
I don't.
They're most likely to be taken advantage of it, right? They have the least.
They should be
tools
allowed to
defend themselves against the harm.
They should be
It's
allowed
like,
to.
Like one thing that bothers me is that there's like slot machines and gas stations now in America.
Hell yeah.
I want all that shit gone. That
Hell
shit
no.
needs to go.
No, why?
Yeah.
What if I'm okay with it?
Well, dude, it's the same thing. Where,
that's the
like, I
problem.
wouldn't like if you're a moral actor and there's someone who like just is like incessantly wants to like gamble with you and keeps losing money. If you're a moral person, you're not going to keep gambling with them because like you're going to look at them and say like, "Hey, this is harming you."
But that's
We're
their
gonna stop
problem.
doing
Why is that my problem?
No,
Why should I be forced? Why should I be forced
society,
not to
though.
have one?
We have to look out for each other. It isn't just about you. Like it's about like the collective. Like, that,
Yeah, but I don't think I should be forced to. Basically, what you're saying is I should be thrown in a cage and kidnapped and thrown in a cage if I put a gambling thing in my business. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah,
If you don't want people, well, hold on.
Stop from doing that. Correct.
Yeah, if you don't want somebody to gamble in a business, well, then you could just tell him don't go.
That doesn't work. What do you mean?
Well,
You ever
people
talk to the people who-
should be
who
allowed
gamble?
to pay for the consequences of their own actions.
No, wait, no, they shouldn't.
Why
You shouldn't
not?
give them the choice to fuck up.
So you're saying, oh, well, if somebody does a drug,
So
they're
you
going to
have the right to
die.
enslave
That increases the likelihood of them dying, so we should stop them from harming themselves. Well, would you agree that having cars legal increases the amount of likelihood of somebody getting killed or drunking and driving and killing even children in a car?
Yeah, but that's EV positive though. The
Okay,
benefit of
so
cars outweighs
therefore,
the-
if we abandoned driving cars or cars in general,
Wait,
then
hold
we
on, I
would
think you missed
stop
my point.
all. We would
How do
stop
you know the
all.
benefit outweighs the
because the industry is supported by people individually being able to commute to work, and the transformation of the highway system, and the fact that every other
Okay.
nation
So
in the
then, what
world
we
has
could
done
do,
it,
we could
the
have a
utility
government
of cars
program.
outweighs.
Yeah, so we can have a government program that makes it so that the only time you're allowed to drive is either to the store to buy your necessities, to work to get to make your money, and that's it. Because if you drive to, say, a bar or the store or to buy anything, you're risking more than your necessity. You're risking other people's lives. Because if we did that, we would most certainly reduce the amount of car crashes and drunk driving accidents, and we would basically make it so that it would be pretty much zero.
Wait, the only reason we don't ban people from driving is because there's not a more efficient way to get people around.
No,
If
I didn't
the
say
AIs
I
were
didn't
good
say
enough,
to
you would
ban all driving. I didn't say to ban all driving. I said to ban driving that isn't for necessities. The same way that we do for prescriptions,
No, I
right?
wouldn't do
The
that.
only time
because
that
the
you can get a
economic
drug is
benefit of
wait, hold on.
You like
The only
driving
time that you
black.
can get a drug, right, is when you have a necessity, right? Because not
that's-
having it
that's
for a
not the
necessity
argument I would
doesn't
make.
benefit society anyway. So you should not be allowed to drive your car to any place that isn't a necessity.
Hold on, I don't agree with that statement. I don't think we make our society based on necessities. I think it's perfectly reasonable for people to do things for recreation.
Like
I think
drugs.
it's what we
Yeah,
should.
like drugs.
So drugs are fine, right?
Yeah, so drugs are good.
Depends on the drug. Depends on the drug.
All drugs.
Drugs are not
But you
fine.
would still-
No drugs are fine.
but you-
No drugs are
but
fine.
you still would
All
want to
drugs are
phase
fine.
it out and regulate. So like,
You consider
what
alcohol
happens
a
is
drug?
that there's a process to
Wait,
this.
we're all talking at
Eventually
once.
you
Let
would want-
Almighty finish his statement.
Okay.
I
Go ahead,
said-
Almighty.
So, yes, drugs should be able to be used recreationally to some extent. However, the ultimate goal should be to phase them out of society. They
Well, you could
probably
do that
shouldn't
without
be
the state, right?
criminalized.
All
No.
drugs?
No.
You could do that
When
without
it
the
comes to
state.
when it comes to hard drugs, we need a much more like militant approach.
How
to
do you know
those.
what the hard drug is?
Like I'm telling you right now, like methamphetamine, any sort of opiates, and cocaine, and benzos. Like we need to just ban outright, completely day one, in my opinion.
No.
What?
Why?
Because
you
there's a bunch of different. The most efficient reason is that they harm people, and I don't want people to get harmed.
Okay, so
that.
again,
I also-
so let's go
even-
back to the
even
car
if-
example.
even-
So
wait,
let's
hold
go
on,
back
hold
to the
on,
car
hold on.
example.
Wait, hold on. Even if, like, for example, with methamphetamine, And like I have experience with this. Like most people who do methamphetamine don't die from methamphetamine. But the
Okay.
thing is that it fucks with people. It turns them into like different, like it fucks with their personality so much that even if you're not physically harmed by it, it is irresponsible as a society to facilitate people doing meth because it's just an ugly fucking.
Well, we can all
Like,
agree.
there's
I'm
no
sure.
reason
Same
for anyone to
argument
do
that
it.
speeding
Let me
doesn't kill people, becoming suddenly stationary does. That's like
Yeah, well, that's a good. Yeah, well, I want to. I just want to
Also,
respond.
our goal-
Hold on, one quick.
We care
I do
about
want to
quality
respond to
of
him real
life,
quick,
right?
if that's okay, Almighty. And then I'll let you go after me. I just want to say that argument can then be used against cars because my argument earlier was like, oh, well, your use of this drug, right, makes you higher likelihood of killing somebody, right? And we can all agree, like, oh, drugs are bad, like meth is bad, heroin's bad, like I don't think anyone's refuting that, right? But our argument is that if you're not harming anyone, if you're not violating anyone's rights, you should be allowed to make your own choice, regardless of whether it may harm you or may not harm you. Because the consequence of that is that if you do drugs and you're not harming anyone and you choose to take that drug, then the state, if they find out, they're going to lock you in a cage and, take away your livelihood and put that mark on your record. And for what? You didn't violate anyone's rights. You didn't harm anyone. And we can say the same thing about cars. Cars kill a lot of people each year. Hold on one sec. Cars kill a lot of people each year, right? And if we made it so that people are like prescriptions, only allowed people to drive for necessities, we would completely eliminate all drunk driving and car accidents, thus lowering the amount of people getting killed.
Do you want to know? There's a really important difference between those two things, and that's that methamphetamine has virtually no benefit to society outside of like incredibly specific circumstances. Cars have plenty of benefits to society. So the negatives of people doing meth are like matter.
How are you
more.
measuring these benefits?
What do you mean? How am I measuring the benefits? How do you benefit from doing meth?
Like how?
It's fun. It gets you high. There's a reason why people get to. People take meth recreationally. Like you can't. You can't deny that people enjoy getting high.
Even the people who take it recreationally shouldn't do it, even if they're not addicted.
Wait. We're not talking about shouldn't. You can't deny people do enjoy getting high. There is like some positive utility to at least to the person who's taking it.
Do we facilitate that?
Yeah, it's too small. There's not enough positive utility compared to that.
Well, there's no way you can calculate that. And even if that was true, people should be allowed to make choices that negatively affect their lives.
Why? When
they
negatively
negatively
affects society
the
as a
entire
whole.
community. It's not just
the problem is
themselves.
it affects everyone.
That's only true if you. That's only true if you live in a welfare state that forces every people to pay for other people's follies, which I'm against.
Oh my god!
It's true if you live in. It's true if you have a family, right?
Hold on, everybody's talking at once. Can we let Almighty go? You go.
Okay, I said that's not true. It's true if you have a family or a community. It doesn't matter if my neighbor or my son is addicted to meth. That will affect me regardless. And
it may
everyone
affect you emotionally, right? I'm sure you may be upset about it, but like you don't have to take care of your heroin addicted brother. That's just something you do because you care about him.
Take up a spot in the hospital.
Well,
When they do
that
not
does
work,
affect me.
they
You'd
must
agree,
be
right?
fed.
That would cause me.
Well, I mean, it may make you upset, but just because something makes you upset does not mean it should be illegal. Like I'd be upset.
If it makes the majority of people upset, then it should be illegal. If it makes the majority of people upset, it should be illegal.
Yeah, I feel
well,
like.
I mean, you could say that about like you could
understatement.
Sorry, but you could say that about a lot of things. Like you could be like, oh well, at a time sexuality make a lot of people upset. We should ban that. We
should ban homosexuality.
Christianity made a lot of people upset. Should we ban that? Let's say having black people around made a lot of people upset. Would that make it okay?
If a city has a large drug-addicted homeless population, even if they're not going around assaulting people, even if they're just standing on the street minding their own business, would you agree with me that like that's just not good for a city to have?
It may not be good, but do I think it should be illegal? No. If they're not violating anyone's rights, there's no crime. There's no victim. There's no crime. What crime have they committed?
They're an eyesore, though. They're fucking annoying.
They're an eyesore. Look the other way.
Get them away, bro.
What if your shirt's an eyesore to most people? Does it mean that you?
Yeah,
wearing the shirt
what
should
if
be
black
illegal?
people are an eyesore to a lot of people? Should we kick them out?
So, again, dude, you're not gonna get me to contradict.
Whoa, okay.
Hold on.
Okay, so maybe don't answer that question, I guess.
So if drugs are so harmless, right? Like if they're so harmless,
Nobody's saying they're harmless.
Whoa, we didn't
Shut
say
up,
that.
bro. I'm making a point.
All right, let him go. Let him go. No, let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Let him. No, just let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Let's be fair.
Okay, but if like drugs are like not that big of a deal, I guess I can say, then what happens when you get off of it? Like what? I'm assuming nothing happens when you like just stop taking drugs, right?
No, we're not saying that drugs aren't bad for you, or in fact, we agreed earlier. Yeah, some drugs are bad, like meth, heroin, crack, whatever. Right? Those drugs are bad for you. They're not good for you. And in fact, I would even go as far as to say probably shouldn't do it. But
wait, I mean, like
the only argument
what
we're saying is
happens
that it
when
shouldn't
you
be
stop
illegal.
Taking drugs. What happens when you stop taking drugs?
Well, it depends on the drug.
You may experience withdrawals depending on the drug.
Yeah, it depends on the drug. You might, yeah.
Withdrawal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Develop superpowers.
Withdrawal.
That's cool.
Yeah, like withdrawal is like it basically like some drugs will make you feel a certain type of way if you stop using that drug for a little while afterwards.
Well, if your body becomes like with opioids, your body can become dependent if you abuse them, and then if you stop using it, like say you stop using cold turkey, it's gonna have some negative impacts. Like I don't know the exact symptoms, but you're not gonna feel very good. Let's just say that.
Yeah, dope sickness fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah, I've never experienced it myself. I've never done any hard drugs, so you know.
Yeah,
but I'm sure it's not good.
I wouldn't recommend starting.
Right,
but that does not mean I don't think people should be allowed to. Sorry.
Yeah, part of why I have the opinion on this that I do is because I've been around drugs like most of my life, and they're just fucking bad, dude. Like we shouldn't facilitate people doing them in like any way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Listen, I don't disagree with you that drugs are bad. We're just saying people shouldn't be thrown in jail for it. I think that's ridiculous. Like, you know, if I'm, and it also has a lot of negative effects too. I think the negative effects outweigh the any good that it causes. For instance, it causes crime. 90% of the gun crime in the United States is caused by gangs. And they shoot each other because they are fighting for turf in which they can sell drugs on it. When you have $1 billion industry, it's really hard to, it's really tempting, and it's hard to say no to millions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars. When the money is right there, you just got to be willing to commit the crime. And when you have people who are willing to commit the crime, they're more likely to commit other crimes in order to stop other people from competing with them. And there's no mediation. There's no courts. There's no claims. You know,
you're giving gangs credit for a little more intelligence than they have. Most like gangs primarily kill each other because they're feuding over like dumb like ego shit. It's not over like drug territory or something. Like what I'm saying is like gangs would largely be killing each other even if drugs were legal.
You've never seen
like that's
kill anyone, dude.
Yeah, but the amount of money that they make from selling drugs, right, is enormous. And the power that they would have would immediately go down because they would be no longer able to sell those drugs, and it would be done by like pharmaceutical companies or like how all other pharmaceutical drugs are made. See, these guys have a lot of guns, they have a lot of weapons, they have a lot of money. They need guns in order to protect their trade. And if other people go onto their turf, that's not a hey, get out of here, let's talk it out, let's go to court. That's yo, we're gonna shoot you. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, a lot of I know that not all disputes are simply just drug related, but you know, it is definitely a major factor. Like a lot of these, and you know, a lot of these gangs also get their guns from selling drugs.
Dude, a lot of I'm not gonna say it's most because I don't have the statistics on it. Like a lot of it is like you'll have like gang members who will like do like smoke crack or something like that and then fight over some stupid shit they wouldn't fight over sober, and the next thing you know, like 2 years later there's like 20 people dead because there's a fucking gang war over it. Like that happens more often than what you're talking about. Is just like people take drugs and just do like retarded shit. Like that's like
I'm not denying that people who do drugs do retarded shit. But I'm just saying that doing a drug by itself should not be illegal. If I'm not harming anyone, you know, if I go out and take a drug and I punch somebody or harm somebody or shoot somebody, well, then I'm committing a crime. I'm violating someone's rights. But if I'm just doing a drug by itself, I'm not really harming anyone. And I'm not denying that people do harm people when they do drugs, you know?
Don't you think that like the issues from like prohibition could have been solved from trauma centers or like drug treatment centers? Because if you treat the illness, right? If you treat the craving for drugs, then the industry effectively dies, doesn't it?
It would help. I think if we got rid of all the money that we're spending on enforcing the drug laws and instead maybe spent it on something like that, and maybe it would be, I would say it would probably be much more cheaper and effective than what we're doing now. We spend tons and tons of money on the drug war through enforcement as well as, you know, like our policing. A lot of our budget goes to stopping. And it isn't simply just stopping people from using drugs. It is the stopping people from shooting each other and committing crimes in order to sell and use drugs, whether it be gangs or addicts. You know, you have gang members selling drugs. You have people stealing in order to pay for their drugs. And also another thing that's another consequence of the drug war is because it's illegal. You've created a risk factor to selling that drug, which adds cost, and that cost is put onto the consumer essentially by writing higher prices being to sell to the consumer. And not only that, but you also make it you lower the demand, not the demand, but the supply, which then increases but you don't get rid of the demand because people still want to do drugs. Which then also increases the price. So then people are paying like exorbitant amounts for drugs. So they have to basically pay their whole paycheck for one dose. And then it's just like, wait, if it was legal and they got it from like a pharmacy where they could mass produce it en masse and it would be much cheaper, they wouldn't need to do that. Like people who smoke cigarettes don't need to spend their whole paycheck in order to buy cigarettes. They just buy a pack for like $10.
Right, but there's no like trauma center for cigarettes or like I guess treatment centers. I mean, or at least, or even better, it could be legalized, as in instead of going to jail for doing a drug, you would have to go to these trauma or drug centers.
I don't think so. Because in the end of the day, I don't think you're doing anything wrong. You're not violating anyone's rights. Just because you're addicted to a drug doesn't mean you should be forced to get help. If somebody doesn't want to get help, then why should I be forced to?
Because you're part of a society that has people in it, and you're not the only person that matters. But
yeah, but if I'm not violating anyone's rights, why shouldn't I be allowed to make my own choices? It's my
Well,
right.
you're not violating other people's rights, but also when you're on drugs, you're more likely to violate other people's rights.
Yeah,
but you could say the same thing about cars.
As a society, we have kind of just ways that we do things, and we kind of have ways that we expect people to act. And one of the ways that we expect people to act is not just like fucking off and being on drugs all day. So like even if you're not harming anyone, like we shouldn't let you do that because it's just gross. Like we don't want people doing that. It's not good.
But just because something may be gross doesn't mean it should be illegal.
I beg to differ. I strongly disagree with you.
Should I not be allowed to watch porn, or should I not be allowed?
You should not be allowed to watch porn.
Why not?
It adds nothing to society.
So
And
wait,
also
so
the
I should like go to
existence of
jail
porn.
for like watching porn? Like if the government sees me
people
watching
producing
porn,
it
I should go to
absolutely
jail?
should. The people who run porn companies absolutely should be in jail.
Why?
Yes.
What did they do wrong?
Spreading degeneracy, getting
And
people's
not
brains addicted to fucking
Degeneracy?
videos.
Not only that,
You may think it's weird or dumb or disgusting, but they're not necessarily harming anyone.
It is harming people.
How?
It's promoting addiction.
Yeah, but you could say that
And
about
then
anything.
and then it benefits from that. And they are
So should we?
economically
Okay, so you guys say porn should be
incentivized to
banned,
addict people.
cigarettes banned, alcohol banned.
I don't think we could get alcohol or cigarettes banned. It's just
But
so,
like ethically, you would
good.
say yes, right?
Yeah.
In a perfect world, yeah, I would say.
What about like certain groups of or races of people? Like, would you say like if
no,
those?
Ace.
The black man.
No.
That
Yes?
has nothing
Okay.
to do with it. It's not addicted to have sex with black women.
Yeah, but
although I don't know, I haven't substantiated it.
whoa! I beg to differ on that one. I love black women.
That's gay.
That's
dude.
disgusting.
How?
Yeah, that's kind of gay.
I don't think so. But we are live
like,
streaming
that
on the internet, so please, I know, just letting you guys know that. I know you guys haven't said anything yet, but I'm just telling you. Now go ahead. I think you were gonna say
But
something.
It has nothing to do with like race. Doesn't have anything to do with addiction. You can't be addicted to a race.
I'm addicted to black people.
I mean, you could be addicted to a race of people. You could be like, I really love having sex with this group of people.
I had to go to rehab because I was addicted to black men.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened to Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened to Milo.
But I feel like that's more like just sex addiction.
I gotta get off. It's good
What's-
talking to you.
You too.
I feel like
Oh, but you're saying, but I was more responding to the other guy because he said that we should ban things that are yucky.
yeah, but there's like
So I was
underlying
like,
reasons.
oh well,
The
if
main
like let's
reason
say if
why
like
I
a group
would
of people
ban
are like
porn-
yucky, you know, wouldn't that count? And then he was like, well,
The main reason I would ban the main reason why I would ban those things is because they incentivize profit based on addiction, which inherently
I think that's fine.
industry as a whole just makes it unjustifiable, or I guess unethical.
I think that's fine. I think it's fine to profit off addiction. I mean, I'm profiting off an addiction right now. People are addicted to watching people debate other people, and I'm profiting by live streaming it to them, and then they give me views, and then ideally in the future I can make money.
My God.
But it's different. This is adding something, like culturally. Porn isn't adding anything. It's just fucking on camera.
What do you mean? You get people jerk off to porn.
Yeah, and then they don't make families, and they don't help themselves. They don't.
Not
like,
necessarily.
get a
There's
life.
guys that jerk off to porn that are married and shit.
Right, but it's like they can also live without doing that, right?
I mean, you could live
It's
without
toxic
driving a
behavior.
car.
It is just a toxic like.
You could live
It's
without
like
driving a
having
car. You
drinking
could live without a
addiction.
cell
It's like-
phone.
It's like having a drug addiction. Masturbating is like self pleasure. It's all the same, bro.
Well, I think I'm
about
not saying it's not addictive. I think it is
quantity, I
addictive.
suppose. Yeah.
I do agree it's addictive, or it can be addictive, if you're not
But I
doing
think
it in
I think
moderation.
in general, prostitution and porn should be banned specifically also because there's no way to verify the age or the
Yeah, you
state
can verify
of
a
someone.
woman's age.
Yeah, but you can always lie about it. You never know for 100% sure. And
Yeah,
just
but
the
you could
fact
say
that like
wait a minute.
1%.
You could say that about like people who buy alcohol or a cigarette or something. Or should we
Well,
ban
yeah,
those?
but like they wouldn't benefit from like lying to you. That just like if they put
yes,
something
they
in your-
would. People benefit from lying about buying cigarettes. They
If
want
my
like you're a young guy
alcohol-
and you want to buy a
if my
cigarette.
alcohol company is found to have like 1% of the beers, which would be a lot, but in this hypothetical, like 1% of the beers, like is like has fentanyl in it, then like that would significantly hurt the industry. But human trafficking is immensely profitable to people that do it. That's why it still exists, despite how risky it is,
Well,
and despite
slavery-
how hard it
A
is.
lot of- there's
Slavery.
a
Hold
lot
on.
of, like, black areas,
should
shadow
people?
areas
Should
as
we
well.
ban work because people? There's a chance that people could be forced to work. and be enslaved.
This is retarded. This is retarded.
What do you mean?
That the comparison of work and sex trafficking.
Well,
like there's no
it's
real
sex work is
comparison
real
there.
work. I mean, sex
It
work.
is.
I mean, prostitution is a
but
job.
Like, no, but like but like prostitution, right? That's more so it. It's like there's brothels full of fucking like. Well, there at least wasn't around.
If a woman is being forced, then that should be
Asian women.
illegal. But if a woman is choosing to do it,
but
then
it is illegal. But
you
that's
could.
the thing,
Yes, you
sex-
can.
But sex.
Women
but
choose
see,
to have
if they
sex for money.
No, but if they legalize sex work, right, then it's just easier for them to do that. And there should
Well,
be a
that's
total
like
ban on
saying
it.
that's like if we that's like saying we should ban cars because it makes it easier for people to drunk drive.
Yeah, but what it's actually more productive. It's more productive though having cars though. To
It's
society.
productive to have sex with hookers too.
No, it's not.
What would make you think it's not?
This guy's rage bait.
What would make you
This
think
guy's
it's
rage
not?
bait. This
What
guy's
would
rage
make you
bait.
think it's not? People have sex with hookers for a
It's
reason.
a short term. It's a short.
People have sex
term-
with a few hookers for a reason. They don't do it for no reason.
It's a short term fulfillment.
Rage bait used to be believable.
Well, I'm
Just
not
like how
rage
drugs
baiting.
is a
I'm an
short term
Ancap.
fulfillment.
I don't think so. I mean, it can be.
is.
I mean, so what?
It is.
So what if it is?
Yeah, but it can be. Yeah.
So
you
what
could
if it
basically-
is?
right.
So what?
It provides a bad option for a clear and logical.
People should be allowed to make bad choices.
This is just rage bait, bro.
It's not rage bait. I'm live streaming. You could see that I'm on my channel. I'm an Ancap.
But
I'm
not if
lying.
those bad choices hurt other people.
If you harm another person, I think that should be illegal. Yeah, but doing the prostitution itself doesn't necessarily
actually are
harm
live.
someone.
What the fuck?
Like there are women who are okay with having sex for money, and if they want to do it, I don't see why they should be like told not to. That's kind of weird.
But
Like I don't
sex-
see why.
But sex and like that is like the most intimate
So
thing
what?
humans have.
You could
You're
pay a
just
woman to
commodifying
massage
the
you.
human body.
You could pay a woman to massage you naked.
You're
But you
never-
can't.
okay, wait,
but you
hold
can't
on.
jerk her.
Is it-
You can't. She can't jerk you off.
You're an anarchist?
Yeah,
Okay, I think that explains it.
but we're talking about drugs right now.
Yeah, but like I don't know. There's some comparisons there. Being an anarchist and stuff that you think is right.
True.
It's like I think you're just throwing out morals entirely.
No, I've given you my.
Just for the-
I've given.
just for the
I've
sake-
given
I
you.
think
a-
you're sacrificing. I think you're sacrificing morals for self pleasure. And I think
Not
that's
necessarily. I'm not. I'm not. I'm arguing that I'm not doing
Even
anything
less, even more,
immoral.
like,
I'm
more
not
like
violating anyone's rights, as far as I could tell. Or
You don't know
As you
that.
can tell, but yeah, that's what.
if
we're
you
talking
have
about.
sex with a hooker and she says I'm okay with it, I don't. You're not violating her rights.
Bro.
Do you know they could be forced to say that, right? It's
Yeah.
not just. It's not just that black and white.
Not necessarily.
You're just. I think you're.
It is.
Every
Straight
so
up.
wait, every single time, every time. You know,
They
there's
never
women
know.
that
The case- the
there are
case
women
is
that
that-
work on their own and don't work on a brothel.
The benefit of fucking a hooker does not translate to the 1% chance of fucking a kid or a slave.
Yeah, because it's morally okay to fuck
Well,
a hooker.
slavery
yeah,
does happen
unless
in the
it's a
real
kid,
world.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, slavery does
Like,
happen
but
in the
we're
real
working
world.
within like the.
So
already
okay, so we should ban cars.
unethical.
We should ban cars and work.
No.
So that because if we
Maybe
don't
at least
because
use the comparison of like
because no because
drinking
you're
or,
saying
like weed.
you're saying
or
that we
something like
need to
that.
ban slavery like
think
sex
you're
work.
rage
Wait,
baiting.
wait, let me finish. You're saying we need to ban sex work because
I'm
there
not
are
going for
some
this.
times where people get forced to have sex for money. Well, there are some times where people will get forced to work in general. So we should ban all labor, right? So that we could stop any hypothetical in which someone will be forced to be work
that
against their
labor is
will.
honest. You're actually contributing.
I think that
something
sex
to
work
life.
is pretty honest. I don't think there's
No,
anything
it's
dishonest.
not.
What's dishonest about it?
Here,
If you're saying I want to have sex for money,
King,
what?
be real. Wait. Be real for a second. Do you fuck hookers or just want to fuck more hookers cheaper?
I don't see any problem with. I don't fuck hookers personally, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If that's what you want to do, it's your choice.
Like even for not even the religious stuff, right? You know, sex after marriage and all that. It's just like having that gray area. It's just so corrupt morally. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I
Excuse
wouldn't
me.
be okay with it.
Sorry,
Like
I was
imagine that
drinking
was
water.
your child, right? Abducted on like a travel, like they're traveling somewhere. Like how would you feel? Like that does happen.
I wouldn't feel very good about my kid being a prostitute, but do I think that
Yeah.
person, in response, they should be thrown in a cage? No.
What do you mean? He should be thrown in a cage?
Well, I mean, if they're a child in the sense that they're underage, then yeah, obviously, I don't think
Just
they
in
should be
general,
allowed to
just
do
in
that.
general.
But I'm talking
Like,
about as an adult.
daughter
If you're an
being
adult,
abducted,
then you should
sold
be
to
allowed to do
sex.
what you want. If you're an adult, you should be allowed to do what you want.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that, but it's just a grey area, like the prostitution in general. It's an issue. It's always been an issue.
I don't think
It's an
I don't
underground-
see
it's
the
an
issue.
underground
The
eco-
issue
it's
is
an
with
undergra-
people
it's an
who are
underground
moral
ecosystem for a
micromanaging
reason.
people. I think it's that
It's
the
an
issue is the moral micromanaging.
Also, you see that a lot of like these people that do go into sex work or prostitution often have a rough home life or
So
rough
what?
mental issues. It
You
means
could
that
say
they're
that
not,
about
like,
boxers.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you
Boxing
can.
can be corrupt as well. Yeah, obviously there's corrupt areas to a lot of things.
Should we
but
ban
it's selling your
boxing?
body.
I mean, you're objectifying men. You're destroying their their value and their
Well,
face.
sex trafficking also applies to like.
Hold on,
guys
destroying
as
their
well.
value, but that destroys the value of women if you're just commodifying their bodies.
Yeah,
as
so
an
we should ban
object.
boxing.
Wait, hold on. Here's a good comparison.
So we
What do
should
you think
ban
of,
porn,
what do you
alcohol,
think-
boxing.
Listen to me for a second. Stop.
Yeah, what's up?
What
Sorry.
do you think of cock ring fighting? That's bad, right?
Cockfighting?
Just in general, the concept of forcing animals and all
I don't
that,
care.
like forcing chickens. Dog
Animals
fights, you
don't have
care.
rights.
You're an anarchist, so that makes sense.
Animals don't have rights.
Just throw out every.
They do have rights, but
just don't be morally like.
Animals
why
don't.
when you,
eat
like,
animal.
try-
If you eat
that's why
animals,
when
then
you
you don't think
kill
they have
animals-
rights. If you eat animals, you don't think they have rights.
That's why when you kill a neighbor's like pet,
I'm not talking
or
about.
you kill
I'm
your
not-
own
I
pet.
don't
in
care
fact.
about the government's view on animal rights. What I care about is the fact that they don't have rights at all. Like they don't.
Well, then, like, it's just your perception of rights.
Mm-hmm.
My
Should it be
perception
legal?
of rights. My perception of rights could be that I can break into your house and rape you every day, but you can have like a different idea of that. But like, you wouldn't be able to do anything about it, right? If you didn't have a government.
Well, yeah, obviously someone could force me to have sex with them, but you know, is that
But that
going to
would
then?
be-
Excuse
so
me.
that would
Hold on,
be-
wait. Excuse me, I wasn't finished. So yeah, someone could force themselves to have sex with me, but is that going to change whether or not I think that's wrong? Well, obviously not, because you know it's immoral to rape
You
someone.
don't think that's wrong for someone to
crazy.
forcefully rape you every day? Because
I
it's
do
not-
think. Wait, I said I don't. I do think it's wrong. I said it's not going to change the fact that I think it's wrong.
Okay, but it doesn't matter because there's no government.
Okay, congrats, you're not anecdotal.
Okay, but we're talking about drugs.
Yeah, and there's no
It kind of
government
went
for
into
that
sex
either.
work.
Huh? And yeah, we were talking about sex work, not anarchism.
Yeah. Well, I just
I
think.
was gonna, that's a question for the prompt. If we're
Mm-hmm.
going to legalize all drugs, would it also be legal for me to take every single drug known to man at the same time?
If that's what you want to do, that's up to you, man.
If you want to kill yourself, do it. Yeah.
Hey, that's up to you, man.
I want to take every single drug.
That's a horrible idea.
I have the moral high ground here. If you want to kill yourself, kill yourself. It's so great. I'm so based.
No, I have the high ground. After I take
Hey,
every
I'm
single
not the
drug,
one.
I'm not gonna
I
be on
never
the
said
same
that. That's
planet.
you, bro.
I'll be in heaven.
It's basically what you implied, though, King.
I never said that. I
And
don't
that's
think
that's how
well,
I
I may
interpret it,
agree
at
that I
least.
think I disagree with your view on things. Like I don't think porn should be illegal. I think that's ridiculous.
But you also like just think that animal abuse should be legal.
If you own them,
It's just
you own the
it's
animal.
just bad for society in general. Fucking porn and shit like that. You know,
I mean, it may be bad.
It's the
It may
bigger
be
picture.
bad for
It's-
you, but just
it's
because something's
toxic as
bad
fuck.
for you, don't mean you should make it illegal.
But it also can be bad.
Like,
for
should we make
society.
McDonald's illegal now? Because like we
Like,
got a lot
no,
of fat
like,
people.
If a company
McDonald's
like
is
owns a
illegal.
monopoly and it's not illegal, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. Because you
Also,
can't do anything
McDonald's-
about it.
I mean,
McDonald's is like the
there
primary
actually
system
is
for
something
the-
you can do about it.
McDonald's
you can
is
compete
bad.
with them.
I don't fucking eat that shit for a reason. Like,
But either way, like, should we make McDonald's illegal because, like, oh, like it's really not good for you?
Well, no, because McDonald's serves a pretty good like purpose, right? It provides
Yeah, that's
food
true.
to communities that don't have food. The
Well,
people
not
in food deserts
necessarily.
have
Some people
McDonald's,
can
bro.
argue. Some people can make the argument, and I'm not making this argument, but I've heard some people make this argument, this exact argument, a few times, where it's like, oh well, we have like an obesity epidemic, and like there's like all these fat people, and it's because of McDonald's, so we need to like ban drive-throughs at McDonald's so that like we have less fat people.
That's the
You
most
don't need to
important
do
thing
that.
ever.
You just need to add some more regulations and probably promote more of a less car-oriented society.
How about we just let people eat what they fucking want?
And then
Yeah,
just let
but-
them kill themselves?
Yeah,
If
what if we
people,
look
if
at the
you want to
people
kill
in
yourself, that's up
fucking-
to you. That's on you.
What if we
If
end up
I
looking at
if
the
I
people
want to
in
eat a
Wally, though?
McDonald's,
So-
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, E.
Yeah, what if we end up looking at the people in McDonald's, not McDonald's, and people in Wally, like fat as fuck, can't walk, being served by robots? Like I don't I don't want to look like that.
I mean, then don't do what they did.
But what if you're
Yeah,
forced to
regulate.
by like
They were
What?
forced to leave.
But forced by
Isn't that the
who?
thing, Wally?
The state?
by like for example the company? Yeah.
Nobody.
the
I mean,
state-
then
like, the
I would.
state is
I
not
think that should be
regulating
illegal.
against this.
I think that should be illegal.
Regulation.
Yeah, I think it should be illegal for someone to force you to eat their food. Yes.
What if we don't force it, but it's like outcompete every single other market or like
Yeah.
every single other competitor, and it's only McDonald's now.
So like
that's
effectively,
not how that works, though.
Yeah, it
but
is.
it can be.
If you have a free market, so long as you have a free market in
if you
food,
buy up
you'll be.
all the
You're not
land
gonna. You're
that's
not gonna.
producing the food. Then
I
you're
don't
not
think
gonna
you can
have
do
any
that.
food for a rival business to.
Maybe if you lived on a planet that's only like 4 square miles, or like a, then maybe you could do something like that. But as far as I live, and we could live in a large world with many different countries, and
But just a free market with no regulation ends up in like either a monopoly or like an oligarchy of companies.
Yeah.
I disagree, and the reason why is because the only thing in a free market that stops another person from competing with a larger company is the fact is a state. Is regulation.
It's regulation, though. Yeah, without regulation, you can't stop monopolies.
Regulations create monopolies.
They can create monopolies, but without regulations, there's nothing to stop a monopoly.
Regulations create monopolies, and without regulations, you'd have less monopolies.
The absence of regulation promotes monopolies.
Incorrect. In the places where you have the least monopolies, you have the least regulation. In the places, hold on. Let me finish my last sentence. No, we're not laissez-faire at all.
We used to.
Yeah, we're not at any not even close. We were never laissez-faire.
We were laissez-faire.
I don't think so. So what? Just let me finish my sentence, and I'll let you go. Okay, please. So when we put a restriction on what people can do in the market, that puts a cost on businesses that would otherwise not be there. When you put a cost on that business, the only businesses that are able to pay for those costs are the ones that have excess capital, thus lowering the amount of businesses within that market. That's just a fact.
It's true, but you also have a market.
So that's
where
why.
you have like a-
Sorry, I was just one last sentence. That's why when you look at places with business sectors of the market that have the most regulation, you see the most monopolization. Go ahead.
There's also a contra economic theory where, like, if you have an economy, right, like a local economy, and in that economy you have no regulation, right, you can just buy out the properties around you or the companies around you, or you can outcompete them by I forget the exact term. It's like you lower your price to like an unprofitable level, specifically so that people buy your product and not your competitor's product. And once they don't get any sales because people are buying your product instead of theirs, but now they go out of business because they cannot compete with the lower price that you set because they have less capital. The big company can do this very easily, and Amazon does it all the time on their online website.
Well, Amazon, they take advantage of patents and things like that, which I would consider to be a monopoly.
Well, no, it's not even patents. It's not even patents. It's the idea that like you have two similar products.
Hold on, I'm going to respond to the. Don't worry, I'm going to respond to your argument. Don't worry, I got you. You're talking about price undercutting, essentially, which is the idea that if you have a business that's larger than another business, they could take advantage of what we call economies of scale in the market, and what economists calls economies of scale, and they can basically lower prices and basically cut smaller businesses out of the market by providing by lowering a good, even sometimes in some situations going at a loss in order to take out their competitors because they have the excess capital in order to take that loss. But here's the issue. The reason why a lot of businesses are able to do that is because of economies of scale that is pushed by the state that makes it illegal for businesses to compete with them. And there's another part of economies of scale that a lot of people tend not to focus on, which is diseconomies of scale, which is another economic term that when you become too big, it becomes harder. So when you have a larger business and you're one manager, it becomes harder for you to, well, manage that whole building as it becomes bigger and bigger and more employees, because there's more things to take account of. Even though you are, so that's why they tend to hire like more managers and things like that in order to deal with that. But as a company gets bigger and bigger and bigger, they end to run into diseconomies of scale where even though they're getting larger, it becomes more expensive to grow larger, even larger than what they are at that point.
Yeah, but this is why you divide up your company, or you create like subdivisions within your company, or you just create like other companies that like are subsidiaries to your company, right? That's not like a issue.
Well, that's why businesses. That's why when large businesses get large enough, and there's no competition, there's no state regulation or licensing laws or minimum wage laws stopping businesses from competing with that business. What you would see is because they are smaller and could take advantage of the fact that that business is in a state of diseconomy of scale, they could then sell at a lower price than that business. And what you would see is many smaller businesses competing with each other as opposed to having one business basically taking up the whole market. That's like it's like basically water seeking its own level. In a free market,
I understand.
Yeah, and but the thing is, what's preventing this from happening? That's why the reason why you see businesses like Walmart, despite diseconomies of scale being a thing, they take advantage of the fact that they have minimum wage laws, licensing laws, zoning laws, this law, that law, tax breaks that allow them to be the only person in the market because it's become so expensive that nobody else is able to compete. And when you take out all your competition, it doesn't matter if you have diseconomies of scale, and everybody's forced to buy from you. So no matter what, you make money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. You're basically saying that due to regulation, the initial like hurdle you have to leap to even get into the specific sector will be higher, rather than if an economy with no regulation, you just get into the sector without really investing much because it's much easier to get past all that red tape that doesn't exist.
Exactly. It's a concept that we call the seen and the unseen, right? So, for instance, there's an argument a lot of people make what they call with the minimum wage, where they'll be like, oh, well, I saw this one study that showed that when we raised the minimum wage, it didn't lead to higher unemployment. Well, it's just like, yeah, but how do you know that the unemployment wouldn't have been even lower had you not put that policy in place? Because you can't see how it would have been after you put the policy in place because you've already put it in place. So if you raise the amount of money that you have to pay a worker in order to work in a business, that makes it so that you either that business, not every business is going to be able to afford it. So what's going to end up happening is they're going to have to either hire less workers, raise the prices of their goods, or make the higher paying workers not get paid more, or make them get paid less, or hire people for less than they would if they were getting paid above the minimum wage. So there's ways that they could cut it that or they just get out of business, but then that's the whole business that would have been there that is no longer there, right? And it doesn't also show all the businesses that could have shown up but aren't showing up because they couldn't afford to pay all of their businesses. Like, let's say you wanted to start a startup, but now there's a new minimum wage law and you wanted to pay all your employees, say $6 an hour, and they raise it to $15 an hour, and it's like, oh shit, now I can't start the business. That doesn't show up on the statistics, and the reason why is because that's the unseen cost. Does that make sense?
Yeah, basically saying that companies who can't afford to actually open up would never be accounted for because they never could afford to open up, basically.
It's the unseen cost, exactly, 100%. That's what we call in the economics.
I understand what you're saying. It does make sense. There are ways to manipulate or to like maneuver within a regulatory body that you can take advantage of and allow for you to have an edge over other people, depending on like how much capital you already have. So like Walmart, by the fact that they can afford the massive cost that come with like operating within this sector, like they can eat a lot of costs, they can spend a lot of money, they can invest a lot in different areas. It's not much of an issue for them. Rather than like a smaller company, they don't have that initial capital to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah.
While this issue is it's not unique to like a regulatory like system, like companies operating within regulations, it would also be similar in like a system where like there are no regulations, right? So you have a company in in this state for some reason there's no regulations at all, and this company can operate in any way they want. Well, in that case, right, that company can do literally anything they want to like outcompete another company. Whether it's like literally like they put signs up around their company to like advertise their own. So if it's like a food place, like a fast food market,
well, I mean,
fast food.
If companies do similar things like that with advertising right now, I mean, you could put a billboard next to a competing company right now, and that's advertised. You can actually open up a store literally right next to your competitor.
Exactly. That's what. Even that, right? Like if you have an under company, right? It's a smart company. They're trying to get into the market, and you notice that they're trying to get into the market. Say for some reason you believe that they're a threat to your profits, they're a threat to your business. Open a business right next to theirs. You have more capital they can never amount in this short amount of time they've existed. So you just outcompete them in that way. Well, if you in a regulatory system, you can account for those types of things, right?
Not necessarily, because every regulation adds a cost to starting a business. Every regulation, because it's something that you have to, like specifically, it's something that you have to follow that you would otherwise not follow had the rule not been there.
Sure, but within a regulatory system, like you can make it so that if you have a small business, right, a larger corporation cannot like create they cannot open like a store right next to your store within like a certain area of your store.
Why not?
Specifically to promote small business growth.
Yeah, but why not? If I want to start then you're stopping people from competing with each other, which is harming the market, which would harm the market, which would mean that would make less competition.
Well, no, we're allowing for more competition by allowing for that small business to grow to some like significant size, right? Because if a larger corporation would open up right next door, they have access to more materials, access to more product. They're probably going to outcompete any other small business in the area just because of that initial start of capital to create a small business is nowhere near going to be enough to compete with us like a mega corporation like Walmart or Target.
Not necessarily. I mean, how expensive is it to start up to buy a building and sell stuff in it? I mean,
my understanding is that to open, at least in my state, to open up like a McDonald's, like a franchise McDonald's, is like 100,000-ish.
Oh, because of zoning laws, because of patent laws. You know, there's tons of reasons why. And there's rent control that makes things really expensive. The fact that the federal government owns like a large portion of the land of the United States, that also makes the remaining land really expensive. Land, if there wasn't all these regulations, land would be so cheap. And the number one thing that gets rid of monopolies is the lowering of the cost of starting a business. And whenever you put a regulation, like by definition, you are increasing the cost of running any business. Like even if you're doing it for a large business, because let's say a large business is better at providing a larger business than a smaller business is better at providing a good or service than that business, then you're basically stopping other people from buying something that would have been better for them, but you felt like, I think this smaller business would have been better. Also, that opens the door for these smaller businesses to get in cahoots with the government and be like, hey, protect us, give us more regulations so that, you know, we stomp out these big guys. And then this way it's like a cartel.
But the purpose isn't to stomp out the big guys. The purpose is to like keep the big guys in check and ensure that there's like a stable economy, a stable market for the goods that we want like average everyday people to be able to access. We don't want only a Walmart. We want a Walmart plus like all the small businesses which make up like the economy.
Well, there could be more businesses, but the thing is, when you restrict any business, you automatically add a cost. Like that's just you're automatically adding a cost to any business, and that makes things more expensive.
Good, though, right?
Also,
I'm
the
not
market
talking about, right?
the market will make it so that there will be more than just one business. Walmart is only huge right now because they have all of these things that they've taken advantage of in terms of like minimum wage laws, SNAP benefits, and all of this stuff, subsidies and stuff like that, that allow them to be big. But they wouldn't be that big, nearly as big as they are now, if there was a free market. In fact, you wouldn't expect businesses to grow very large at all in a free market.
I feel like in a free market you'd expect a similar phenomenon where like the better companies, the better managed companies would grow more and more and more, and the worst managed companies or the companies that provide the worst product will probably go down, and eventually the companies that perform better will become like necessarily like larger than the companies around them.
Well, that's assuming that there isn't going to be new companies to prop up to also compete with those ones. You know, this isn't a market where one person wins and one person loses, and then they forever become that business in that sector. And you know, there's people new, as long as there's no regulations stopping people from popping up, then yeah, you're gonna expect there to be more competition. Because like businesses, businesses generally, they want to make profit, right? And if they see that there's a business making profit selling a certain good or service, well, then they're going to be incentivized to sell that good. It's like you ever look at stocks, right? If there's a stock that's making more profit than other stocks, people start to invest in it, right? And then to the point, and then once it, you know, till it sort of equalizes, right? And that's how businesses work, right? Where people once the stock goes up, people start to provide that service, and then there's so much of that good where that the price goes down, and then it's more accessible to everybody, and because more people are providing that good. And that's sort of how it works with supermarkets or any good, where basically like if you have a need for supermarkets, then people are going to build a supermarket.
Well, the issue is that if the supply, so if you have all these small businesses and the supply continuously increases, right? Eventually, there's going to be a cap to the supply, right? You can't just infinitely put product in a market and expect to get like returns on that.
Well, yeah, but that's why we have price signals that show what goods and services are profitable and which ones aren't.
Like, not even that. There's a cap to the amount of supply you can introduce to a market before you start losing like profits, right? If you put more stuff in a market that is demanded, that's needed, well, then necessarily the cost for that will go down.
Well, then what they'll do is they'll sell off what they have, and then they'll readjust. And if not, then they'll keep losing profit until another business that is not being stupid is going to come in and take their place. And that's just sort of how it works.
Well, but yeah,
prices
are one bit.
Sorry, just like prices are signals. They basically signal to people what is needed and what isn't needed. If there's a profit like that could be made off of a good, that means that people really, really want that good and are willing to exchange their money for it.
If it's like a company that's like larger than another company, and they're providing a lot of supply, and as they're getting like a supply of a specific commodity, a specific good, and as they get larger and larger, they start to provide that good more and more, another small company coming in necessarily can't just take the place of that company, right? Because there's only so much more supply that can be taken up before you reach that point where you can no longer sell that thing for profits.
What would end up happening is the price would go down so low that the demand, what we call marginal utility, the law of marginal utility, whereas more of something is created, the less use for that thing it becomes. So the price of it becomes lower. So for instance, like
even before that, the small company that tries to get into that sector would just necessarily either die out or just not get into that sector because they realize that unless you're just retarded,
they'll move to something that's more profitable. Yeah, but that's the point of prices. But that's the purpose of prices.
It would necessarily create a monopoly in that region, because if a small business try to come in and compete with a larger company which is already providing like the supply necessary for that region, well, necessarily they're going to start deflating the value of that supply by trying to compete with it.
Yeah, but that's assuming that one company is able to be the only person that's able to sell that good at a profit, which is impossible.
I'm saying one company in this example, but it could be it could be far more than one company. Obviously, like it could be an oligarchy, like companies that like administer to a specific region, like they have backdoor agreements, or like there's agreements like on paper, like hey, look, like we're going to work together on this specific thing.
Well, what's stopping
talking about, like,
what's stopping
price
the people
fixing?
within the cartel from undercutting each other and then stealing the other cartel members' customers?
Well, game theory, right?
What's gonna nothing's gonna stop them. I mean, unless those guys shoot them.
I'm saying game theory, like necessarily, like they're gonna make these calculations to come to the conclusion of what they should do.
Like, okay, so like let's say you have 5 guys and they say, oh, we're gonna sell everything at $5, right? So that we can all make a profit at selling everything for $5. But if I undercut any of the other guys, I'll start getting more customers because I'm selling it at a lower price. I have all the incentive in the world to undercut those other guys, because if I do, the second that I do, I'll start getting more customers than them, and I'll start making more money
But
than them.
if you do that, not only would you destroy the relationship with other company that you had a previous engagement with, well, not only you
So
would
what?
destroy the relationship with the other company.
You'll make
but even
profit.
with that, there's a specific there's a specific formula that the companies engage or not engage, but use to like figure this out, right? What's the most optimal price I can price this for that, like, you know, accounts for the risk of another company like undercutting me. The specific
Yeah,
formula
but
that
the
companies
second that
use
they
for
do
that.
undercut them, in the cartel, they'll get more customers because people will buy what's cheaper for at the same quality, and then they'll basically get ahead of the other guys, even though they have an agreement. So unless they could come in and like shoot them, you know,
Well, no, we're not talking about,
you know,
like murder.
they can't
We're saying,
really
like, the
stop
second
them. They
company
can't
would
really
adjust the
stop
price
them from
to-
undercutting them, and
That
they
is
have
true,
all
but
the
the second
incentive
company
to
would
do
just
so.
adjust. But the second company would just adjust and they'd match that price, or they undercut them, and then they'd be
But then the
all-out
cartel
fucking
is broken up
market
then.
war.
And then
Yeah,
the
and the
cartel
cartel has
is
already
broken
been
up.
broken.
Yeah, then the cartel's
Yeah.
broken up, and
It
then it's no
failed,
longer,
'cause they're
and then we're
under-
back to a free market.
Which is why they're not necessarily incentivized to like destroy the agreement that's already had there, right? They understand that if they destroy that agreement, but now they're in like in an open market war against another large company. They don't know necessarily they're going to win that.
Yeah, but if they break the agreement, they'll make profit. Because
necessarily.
yes, they will. Because if you sell a good at a lower price than your competitors, more people are going to buy your goods. So you're
If you undercut other
incentivized.
companies.
You're incentivized to undercut them. That's why cartels would shoot people if they undercut them, because if they didn't, because they have all the incentive to. So they have to be like, oh, if you do it, we'll shoot you.
I understand, but if you undercut other companies, they can just match your price and undercut you now.
And then the cartel's broken up because they're undercutting each other, which goes against the agreement.
Exactly, which is why there's already an incentive structure to not go in this agreement. And if you do go in this agreement, well, now you're just at odds with the other company, and whoever.
I don't think you're understanding what I'm saying. You're going to be incentivized.
Tell me what you're saying. I do understand.
You're going to be incentivized to lower the price because you're going to want to undercut them and make more profit than them.
Yeah, you're saying that companies are profit based, which I agree with. Therefore, if they have an opportunity to gain more profits by undercutting the other company, which they have an agreement with, well, they're going to do it. I understand what you're saying.
Well, they're going to be incentivized to do so. That's why cartels, they shot people who undercutted each other in the cartel, because undercutting was basically, they called them like a scab or some shit like that. So they had to, they had no choice but to do it by force, to enforce it by force. But if there's no force mechanism, then there's nothing to really stop them from undercutting them.
Well, not something like concrete, like something forceful to stop them, yes, but there's understanding that if you undercut the other company, well, then you're both going to be undercutting each other, and your profits are probably going to like lower than what it could have been.
Yeah, but you would have the upper hand. But you would have the upper. Whoever's first would have the upper hand. Yeah, but whoever's first would have the upper hand against the other ones.
My understanding is that you could respond pretty quickly by just like lowering prices among your stores, right?
Yeah, but then the cartel's broken. But then the cartel's broken.
True, but there would be like no advantage.
So then,
right?
if we have a free market, if we have a free market, the cartels will break up very easily because they could just undercut each other, and then it would break up.
Hey man, love your
just to
stream.
clarify,
Let's
if
game
a
together
company like
sometimes
undercuts
and
another
share
company,
tips
we're
at
talking
me
about like
on
grocery
Discord.
store,
Johnson
it's very easy
907.
for a second company that got undercut to adjust their prices to match or lower the other company's prices.
Then the cartel's
Because
broken,
DM has the
and then we're
authority-
back to a free market.
DM among like most like fast food restaurants or like grocery stores, a DM has the authority to change prices. Maybe even a GM, but like a district manager has
Yeah,
the authority
but
to lower
listen.
prices on their
If
stores.
one of them undercuts
that
the
good
other
then?
one,
They're lowering prices.
if one of them undercuts the
Not
other
necessarily.
one, that one is going to make more money than the other ones, right?
Well, if the initial action of undercutting will not necessarily gain you more profits, right?
Wait, so if you remain on the lower, why do business undercut each other in the first place?
I'm explaining it. Hold on, I'm explaining it. That's why the initial undercutting is not what's going to give you the profits. Is if you remain in that spot. If you remain giving lower prices at a profitable.
What if I'm doing a backdoor deal where nobody knows? What if I'm doing a backdoor deal, right, where nobody knows, and I'm telling people I'll give you this price if you only come to me, and I don't tell anyone?
Is that illegal?
No. Again,
not?
that's why I was explaining earlier. That's why cartels had to use force in order to enforce their cartel. But without force in a free market, right, you can't hold on to a cartel for very long because you're incentivized to undercut the other person. Because if you do, you'll make money. And you could just do it in secret.
Possibly, I have to think about it a little more, but yeah.
So
possibly.
So that's why cartels break up in a free market. That's why you need the state in order to have a cartel. To shoot whoever comes in, that's like basically regulation.
Possibly. I still think that monopolies can exist outside of a regulated market, but
that's okay. I have a YouTube video I could send you that's actually really, really good. You want me to? Is that okay?
Yeah. Send it in the side chat. Send it to my personal DMs. Is it like
It's an economics video.
You know, like infographics. Infographics. Is that one of those type of videos, or is it like an economic deep video?
It's an economic video by a guy named Liquid Zulu, and he goes over why natural monopolies don't exist.
I'll probably watch that. It sounds interesting. I'll do washing dishes or something.
Yeah, and it's really, really good, man. And if you keep up with it's a little bit it's not easy. It's a bit of a hard listen and when your first time around, but I think if you take your time and listen to it, really listen to it, it has a lot of information in it. So that's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's a good video, that's all. And in there he goes over undercutting, price cutting, cartels, like pretty much all the arguments that people make for a natural monopoly existing in a free market. So I think after that you'll definitely have a much more broader perspective.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it the Japanese guy?
But anyways, I'm gonna go to bed, guys, because it's like 3 a.m. So have a good night, guys.
It's pretty late. Well, good night, man. I hope you have an amazing night, and
you too. It was good talking to you.
Wake up tomorrow.
Oh, I was live streaming this too.
Yeah. I don't mind.
Have a good night, everyone.